Not me just forgetting to move the microphone entirely. What's up? How we doing? What? Don't do that. Don't do that. Why are you not working with me? Alright, well the microphone's like, nah, we ain't doing that today. Nah. Alright, well we're here. Hopefully. Oh no. Is voice mod on?
That's funny. We here. What's up? What's good? Welcome in. Congratulations to Xando. My microphone's just not wanting to participate in any way today. Microphone didn't want to be on screen. Also started out with reverb on for whatever reason. What's good? Let's turn this on again. I don't know why this thing turns off so quick. It sure does though. How we doing? Congratulations to Xando on claiming first. Congratulations. Xando, hope your weekend was okay, man. I've been thinking a lot about you. Hope everything's all good. Welcome into Buish. Welcome into Wise and Lemur. Way too dank with the exploding cheese man. What's up, Stain? How we doing, everybody? What's up, folks? How's life? How are things going? I could be in a better mood today, but I'm here and I'm doing my best. I don't think it's time change. I don't think it's time change that's doing it. I don't know what it is, man, but I am in like I'm in a mood. Good. I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. Bad day so far. Please. Yes. Everybody's having a bad day. Raise your hand if you're having a bad day. Oh man, we had a happy chat today, huh? See the time behind you. Boom jams this way. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. Good, I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. Yes, absolutely, Xando. Plenty of them, plenty of them. Mood indeed. Mood indeed. Yeah, that's something that I'm going to try to do with the sign back there is write a message that I need to hear and just count on the spirit to count on that the rest of you are going to need that message as well. Just hope and pray. Well, I'm glad that you're all here. Glad to be here with you. We do officially now have our setup. So this is the setup. The background is not quite right. I'm gonna hopefully have a corner shelf right here. And so that'll change. There'll be more in the background there. But this is our new Monday and Tuesday. We're gonna try and stick with this and see how things go. Gengar got old man eyebrows. Is a real old Gengar. Yep. But I now have this big fancy new ring light. It's Jimungo. It's the biggest ring light I've ever seen in my entire life, and I can change colors.
Who is your daddy? Does he got Gachapon?
Oh, that was crazy! That was wild timing, right with the Gachapon. So I can bring in some accent colors here. That was crazy timing, wasn't it? So I guess if we want to go purple mode, we can go purple mode. But I'll probably, for the most part, stick to just the not yellow. White light, not yellow light. No more cozy mode, not on Mondays and Tuesdays at least. Thursdays, I'm sure it'll be cozy mode. Let me get you your Gachapon. Ooh, we might be out of quarters. I got 3 more, Trace Mas. Not many more quarters. I'll have to get more if anybody else redeems Gachapon. Ah, Gamba. Gamba time. So double Gamba, Xando. You should have just waited. Oopsie. That was a bad one. That was a bad miss there. That one wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. All right, we'll do these Gambas and then we'll do our Jeopardy. This is Jeopardy. Need them points. All right, well, let's Gamba away. Prediction, start prediction. Okay. First up. What? No. One of these days we'll have a Nate After Dark. We'll do all the dangerous questions. Actually, we will not. We will not. There are some that are more appropriate than others. All right. Does. Come on. This keyboard's wild. Does Nerd Pastor Nate crack his knuckles? Yes. No. 1 minute on the clock. First one up. For those of you that have never done Gamba, you now have a minute to bet your channel points and potentially win channel points. So get after it. Get after it. See if you can win those points. Oh, man. We gotta put this Gamba back. You need all of the points? So many points. Movie while we wait? We can. Oh, I do see your movie now. Yes, of course. I was wondering. I was like, are you doing movie instead of Gamba nowadays? It does look like the prediction is up. So let's see what kind of points we're working with here. Looks like we had 100% no. Yeah, no, I don't. It's actually not even that I don't, it's that I can't. I cannot. I don't know how. I don't know how to crack my knuckles. I've never been able to. I've tried plenty of times, can't do it. Don't know how. Don't know how people do it. Blows my mind. It is a mystery how people do it. All right, next one. Did Nerd Pastor Nate go to bed before 10 p.m. last night? Yes. No. 1 minute. Starting prediction. You're all good, Weesh. I got it. Uh-oh. Oh no, it's ads. Uh-oh. Advertisement people might miss this one. In the meantime, movie game for Zando. 1950s high schoolers spend their summer nights and school days singing and dancing before embarking on a cross-country motorcycle run with Dennis Hopper. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. I like it a lot. 1950s high schoolers spend their summer nights and school days singing and dancing before embarking on a cross-country motorcycle run with Dennis Hopper. It is Greasy Rider. Greasy Rider! Gross, by the way. So nasty. I don't like that one bit, but I love it. Greasy Rider. It does kind of imply that the name of the movie is Grizz. Which is not. It's Grease. But you know, details. Riders. Riz. Yep. Got that John Travolta Riz, man. All right. Prediction results. 100%. No, 99% with 100K say that I went to bed before 10 p.m. last night. 623 points said no. Who bet the 100K? Who bet the 100K? Because you just gave it away. You just gave it away. I don't know if you meant to, but yeah, I went to bed last night at about 11:15. Sneaky donating the points. You never know, because I will tell you, the night before I went to bed at 9:05. So it is a real shot in the dark with my sleep schedule nowadays. That might be. Well, why do I keep going that way? That might be the reason behind this, because I was up too late last night. Okay, Jeopardy time. First Jeopardy question. For those of you that have never done Jeopardy with us before, the way that this works is that we will actually just answer the question. You don't have to say it in the form of a question. You don't have to do anything in particular about it. I will read it twice, but if I don't finish reading it and you get the answer correct, then you still get those points. So the odds are there. The possibility is there. Just answer if you know, and you could end up on the leaderboard. I need a place to put these because they're stressing me out. Okay. First Jeopardy question is actually a final Jeopardy. So we're going to we're going to RNG and see what it's worth. Okay, Google, pick a number between 1 and 20. We'll multiply that by 100. Check out this. I got a paper cut right there. 2. All right, this Jeopardy is worth 200 points. The answer. The title of this the category, musical theater inspirations. The answer. The title of this musical that opened on Broadway in 1964 was inspired by a Mark Chagall painting. That must be it. That must be it. It's an awful placement, isn't it? The title of this musical that opened on Broadway in 1964 was inspired by a Mark Chagall or Chagall painting. I don't know how you pronounce that artist's name. It is Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler on the Roof. How do you guys say it? Roof or roof? Roof. Roof or roof? Depends on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to my dad, I'd probably say roof. All right, 200 to Sneaky. That puts Sneaky at an even 11K. Next Jeopardy. Category is, it's worth another 200. 200 points. Category is named for a president. The answer. In 1998, Congress wished him a happy 87th birthday by renaming Washington National Airport in his honor. In 1998, Congress wished him a happy 87th birthday. It is indeed Ronald Reagan. Congratulations to Buish. 200 to Buish. Putting you up to a grand total of 800. Category remains the same. Fine, we're going to do 3 starting now because we are on February 21st and we got to catch up. So, February 21st is what we're on today. Category is named for a president. This question is worth 600. 600. Answer. The Department of Commerce headquarters building is named for this president who once served as Commerce Secretary. The Department of Commerce headquarters building is named for this president who once served as Commerce Secretary. I don't even know what presidents we've had. Herbert Hoover is the answer. Congratulations. We've got it. What I think is so funny about these Jeopardy questions is that I'm the one asking them, and I do not know the answer. I'm not a history buff. You guys know that. I know none of it. I know absolutely none of it. I will say this music is also bumming me out. We're going to go to hi-fi. We are going to go to hi-fi. That should be at least a little bit of a mood boost. Need some chip tunes? That also sounds real nice. There you go. Those are our Jeopardy questions. Oh, I didn't read off the top 3. Congratulations to our Jeopardy participants today. Reading off the leaderboard, our current top 3. In third place, we have the newly appointed third placee, Weisenlemer, with 4,400. In second place, we have Sneaky Pigs with 11,000, 11K. Zando with 14K, 600. There you go. That's the leaderboard as it stands. Tune back in tomorrow at 1 o'clock for more Jeopardy. We got 3 more questions. GameCube Animal Crossing soundtrack always gives me good vibes. Animal Crossing in general is just so good. It's actually been a while since I've listened. Why? Why? Why won't you stay on? I actually feel like it goes really well with the San Junipero vibes. Hey, are we playing Metroid this week? It depends. It depends. My honest game plan is on Thursday. I'm planning on finishing IB and then probably starting Birth. But we'll just kind of see how much time we have. The best way to get me to play Metroid this week, Weesh, as you know, would be to make the recommendation tomorrow. On Variety Tuesdays, suggest Metroid and get some people to vote. Because if people vote for it, I'll play it absolutely, 100%. I would love to play some Metroid Fusion. I assume that's the one you're talking about. Were you talking about Prime? New Horizon was kind of a bummer soundtrack for me because I had gone back and listened to the GameCube soundtrack so much. Oh yeah, well there were some good ones in there for me. It definitely wasn't as good. It wasn't as good, but it was up there. Fusion, I figured. I got the heater on today. I got the heater and long sleeves. I was literally wearing shorts like 2 days ago. That's probably why my mood is scuffed. It won't keep one temperature for longer than 2 days. Meh. AC guy is here right now. Yeah, I'm freezing. I believe I put in a speedrun request for a Super Metroid a while back. Let's push that and Fusion tomorrow. Get Nate to play the best Metroid games. You know, I've never really beaten Super Metroid. I've played minutes of it at best. I'd be totally down for some Metroid. Totally down. I had an idea for today, but I don't have any initiative to actually get it done. But I was thinking about, so what we're doing now is we have like special things on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, where Tuesdays is now going to be our top 10 Tuesday. We'll do a top 10 list on Tuesday. And then Thursdays are when we do Twig, which is our news show. And so I don't know what to do on Mondays. And so I was thinking it might be kind of fun to do. Thank you for your alert, Tsunami Gaming. Appreciate you. I was thinking about doing a like meta Monday or like a media Monday where we would start the stream out by building something into the stream. So whether it's with Atom or with Streamer Elements or whatever, I thought that would be fun, but I don't know what to do. I don't actually have anything planned, so it doesn't really work unless we just have an idea off the top of our heads. I'm sure there are plenty of things that I've thought about doing before, but I don't have any like that come to mind right away. But that was a potential plan. That was a potential plan. It just didn't come to any kind of fruition because I never thought any further beyond that. But again, it's also just kind of like blech. Just kind of the blech day. It's such a gross day. I am excited because I get tacos tonight. And I should be happy that I get tacos tonight. I should be glad. I should be glad about that. Taco Monday. It makes so much sense, right? Look, they're $1. I don't care whether it's Tuesday or Monday. If they're $1, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take that $1 and run with it. Such a cheap taco. So good. My wife and I were talking this past weekend about like part-time jobs and thinking about whether or not to get another source of employment because groceries are so expensive and everything. And this is not like a guilt trip. But we were talking about food and how expensive food is. And so I was like, well, I could always go get a job at like a coffee shop or something. Or she could go get a job working for, she was like DoorDash. She was work for DoorDash or something like that. Because then you get to pick your own hours. And according to Jate, I'm pretty sure they get paid like $2 an hour at DoorDash. And I was like, well, what's minimum wage nowadays? And I learned that it still hasn't changed. And that blows my mind. I was like, what is it? Like $8 or something? And she was like, no, it's $7.25. And I was like, what? That's just insane. $7.25. That's wild. So I will not be getting a part-time job. And neither will Logan, probably. She's signed up for summer school, but she does that anyway. But man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Groceries are wild. We have yet to spend, like we are very frugal people, and we have yet to spend below $100 on groceries for a week. It's crazy. It's crazy. Prayed for you in church yesterday, Zando. Church staff set up a meal train for us. It's been wonderful not having to worry about meals the last few days. Absolutely. Wife did DoorDash for a while last fall. Wasn't spectacular, but she enjoyed doing it. See, I could see a certain like pastoral opportunity if you serve in the area that you're DoorDashing. And I was like, hey, that's pretty good. Like you could get to know people and know faces, and that would be a good thing to do. It'd be kind of like Meals on Wheels, but you're getting paid for it, which I guess is ethically concerning. But there's some potential there. But just from Jate's experience, I don't know about it. Costco runs are like $70 for snacks right now, not even real sustenance. Yeah. Yep. Drove Lyft to learn the roads and communities in Nashville and loved it. Wouldn't do it anymore because it doesn't pay well enough. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I keep hearing. See, that was kind of, I like, the thing that I always ask myself is, what could I do that would be fulfilling? At the very least would fulfill me. And that's why I said like a coffee shop I think would be nice. Because you get to talk to people. You get to know people. It's kind of like what they always say, like a pastor is like a bartender, right? I mean, that would be a natural job for a pastor because you just get to talk to people about their lives and their stories and hear them. And I've always thought about it. Me and Addison's almost went to bartending school back in college. Oh boy, you guys can really see my posture, huh? I don't know if I like this whole standing thing. You guys can really see my like hunch. Ugh. Hopefully it'll help me stand up straighter. Maybe this will be the perfect time to work on that posture check thing. Costco Bill's insane. I have 2 boys that are reaching teenage eating habits. Oof. That's a big oof. Yeah, fortunately, I was never much of a snacker. I was just the candy person. I eat a lot of candy. Stream of consciousness is winning today, folks. Stream of consciousness is winning. I'm all over the place. I think we need to play a game. If we don't play some kind of game, I don't know where this conversation is going to go. My brain is all over the place. And then Stain comes in here, declaring himself a snack. Like this is, what was the name of the other one? Smasher Pastor? Like this is Smasher Pastor or something. Stain comes in here with his bold declarations. I did, I'm almost 40 hours into Dragon Quest XI. It's just so long. It's just so long. I'm enjoying the story. It's a good story. I'm enjoying the gameplay. But oh my gosh, why do all these games have to be so long? Why? Every game. I want a 10 to 15 hour game. And every game I pick up that I'm like, oh, I gotta check this one off the backlog, it's like, oh good, that's only gonna be like 80 hours. Can't stand long games. I have to go back to school to get a second bachelor's degree just to get a better job to feed my kids. I believe it. It's so bizarre. It feels like we're getting back to a point where, I don't know if any of your churches ever did this, but my church growing up used to do this thing on Saturdays where we would collect overflow food. And it wasn't homeless people that would come in, it was just families that needed a little bit of extra help. And it wasn't even food stamps, we didn't require anything. But you would just come in and you would get to basically pick one thing out of every bin along the way and fill up a big bag with a bunch of food. And it was not really a food pantry, it was a weird like mixture of missions. But I remember we did that and it was just like people. It was just people that came in and got to take part in it. Like we did things that were missions intentionally for the homeless. We did things that were intentionally for like the less fortunate, intentionally for those that needed the extra help. And then there was this other thing that was like, just because it's life, man, you know? And that was crazy. Such a crazy thing. Thought we'd signed NDAs to talk about that title. Smasher Pastor Remains. Smasher Pastor Remains. It's on some VOD somewhere. I also started playing a game called Paranorma Site. I got through the tutorial. Really like it. Very good. Visual novel. Very good. Square Enix, which surprised me. Square Enix making a visual novel. That is not something they do a ton. And the basic gist of the story is you are this meta character guiding the decisions in this visual novel. And there are 7 curses. There's actually more than 7, but the idea is that there's 7 curses haunting this part of Tokyo. And it kind of turns into like a platinum end situation where if you get cursed and you kill enough people with your curse, then you can resurrect one person from the dead. That's the gist of the game. And so the tutorial actually has you playing as one character who successfully reaches 100 souls, 100 deaths. And then we kind of don't really understand what happens to him. And then we get to play through the real story, which is 3 different characters who have better plot lines as they figure out how to use their curses to potentially bring back someone that should actually be brought back from the dead. Should. Really interesting concept. Very scary, spooky, trying to get you get your hackles raised. And I'm excited about it. Good game. That's the kind of stuff I want to be playing because I bet it's like 10 hours. Oh yeah, we did the same in the Las Vegas Valley during the height of the recession. Maybe that's what it was. It feels like it was around then. People just completely lost everything and they worked 2 or 3 jobs, were victims of bank going under. We'll miss those foreclosure days. Nope. I'm thankful I was so young. And don't really remember it. Or what I remember of it was not like dire to me. I don't know if everybody saw that. So I got the chance to preach this Sunday, which is not very often that I get to preach at a like church rather than Checkpoint Church, and the organist was a big old nerd and played first a medley of church songs from video games. So like if it was from like a Final Fantasy that it was like the church song that played while you were in the church in this game, that was like one of them. So Koji Kondo was on there. There were a couple other big names on there. And then the closing was actually the intro prelude to Castlevania 3. And that's just crazy. I love nerds, man. I was happy to serve and play the Game Boy while those folks came in 100%. It was really wild. It made me super happy to hear all these like familiar songs being played in the church. It reminded me, there's one person that on TikTok that does that, where they play, and it's very familiar. They don't necessarily just play like just holy music from those games, but they'll just throw in just like the Legend of Zelda theme. Like they won't even adapt it into a hymn. But this guy was like very clever and creative of like taking the holy music from the games and playing it during worship service. Super cool. But I was worried I might have stepped on some toes. I hope that I didn't step on too many toes because I don't ever want to like hurt feelings, but I do want to like call to action, you know? And they had a fantastic sound booth at this church. They've done an amazing job. But I made my usual claim of like, odds are the nerds in your church are all being siphoned back to the sound booth, and that's fine. Just don't keep them there forever. Like let the nerds out. Let them be leaders. Let them guide and direct the church as well. And so hopefully they heard and weren't just like, I can't believe he said that. You know how church people can be. They were actually for real. If you're in the Salisbury, North Carolina area, go to Milford Hills UMC because doggone, that was the most friendly church I've ever been to. I go to a lot of churches, especially with guest preaching and just growing up in the church my whole life. I mean, I've been to a lot of churches. They were incredibly welcoming. I had an idea to have our organist play some Final Fantasy music near my birthday, but that's also the organist's birthday, so she treats herself. I see. Treat yourself. Well, it's easy, Xando. Just change your birthday. Obviously. Just have another birthday. A rebirthday. All right. We're going to play some games. We're going to continue our journey through Pokemon White. I don't honestly remember where you're on it. Bingo. Got it. Gonna do it. It's just like changing your name. You just change your birthday. BRB. Seabweesh. I don't remember where we are in Pokemon White. I feel like that's the thing about like breaking this game up into segments on the week, is that I don't remember where we are. I don't remember where we leave off. I get very confused and lost. So I don't know where we're at. But we're here and we're playing some Pokemon White. So we're gonna get right into it. But obviously feel free to keep hanging out, chilling with us, being with us. We're probably going to turn down the volume a little bit because I seem to recall Pokemon White being pretty crazy loud. Yeah, that's pretty loud. Alright. Oh! Oh my gosh! No, it's not time for Pokemon White. We have something way cooler to do. I completely forgot. I literally just read the title of the stream. We're picking the favorite Pokemon of all time. Duh, dummy, come on. What on earth? What am I doing? What am I even doing with my life? Okay. We gotta pick the favorite Pokemons. I found this thing. Have you guys heard of this thing? The ultimate favorite Pokemon picker? I'm so excited about this. I saw this on TikTok, and now we're finally gonna get to do it. I'm super, super amped about this. So this is a kind of ranker forum that somebody has made, but it breaks down by gen and by type, and you pick your favorite out of each gen and type, and then you pick your favorite out of each of those types, and then you pick your favorite out of all of those favorites. Delibird's gonna be on here, for sure, but who else? It's a lot. So we're gonna find out what all these are, but this is something exciting that I've been meaning to do for a while, and I'm super hyped about it. So we're gonna get right into it and determine the best of the best to answer the question, who is Nate's favorite Pokemon of all time? And I think it'll be fun. So you can see how this goes. The chart goes by gen over here on the side. Is my mouse not on there? Well, it goes by gen over on the left side, the x-axis, I suppose. Is that right? Or is that, no, that's the y-axis. And then the x-axis goes by type. You've got normal, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, fighting, poison, ground, flying, psychic, bug, rock, ghost, dragon, dark, steel, fairy, starter, gimmick form. I don't know what that is. Okay. Legend. Obviously the legendaries. Why are they shiny? Why are they shiny? Why are they all shiny? Uh-oh. We're gonna refresh. Okay, good. I don't know why they were all shiny, but there you go. So gimmick, and then you get to pick your favorite of this generation based off of the ones that you pick. Oh boy, this thing's broken, huh? And then you get to pick your favorite of each typing, and then you get to pick your favorites of all. So that should be the way that it works. We're just gonna get right into it because this is a lot of Pokemon we gotta go through. There are so many Pokemon. And we're gonna have to get started if we want to get this thing done. So let's start with normal types. So my favorite normal type of Gen 1, ooh, probably Chansey. I really like Chansey. I also really like Kangaskhan. I'm gonna go with Chansey. I love my girl. My favorite, my favorite fire type of Gen 1, probably Arcanine. It'd either be Arcanine or Charmander. I'm gonna go with Arcanine. Favorite water type of Gen 1, let's see. Oh boy, definitely Lapras. Favorite grass type of Gen 1. I didn't really like grass types that much in Gen 1. Bulbasaur, obviously, but like I want to pick somebody that's not a starter because I know I'm going to pick him at the starter anyway, but that'll be fine. Favorite electric type in Gen 1 is probably going to be, probably Electrode. Favorite ice type, can I pick Lapras again? Or do I need to pick somebody else? It could be Articuno, but it's probably Lapras. Go Lapras again. Favorite fighting type was... I kind of liked all the fighting types in Gen 1. Man. Picking one fighting type is pretty tough. I'm going to go with Machamp. Favorite poison type in Gen 1 is probably going to be Gengar. Favorite ground type in Gen 1. Ooh, that's really tough. Oh, that's so tough. I'm either going to go with Nidoking or Golem or Cubone. Let's go with Cubone. Favorite flying type of Gen 1. Man. Okay, this is very tough. You think Nidoking instead of Cubone? I just love Cubone. I love that little guy. Favorite flying type is going to be really tough. Oh, good. Cubone is correct. Good. I'm glad I got Xando's approval there. We're in the clear. Favorite flying? I guess I'm going to go with Dragonite. I don't know. I almost don't even consider him like a flying type. I mean, I know he is, but... yeah. Favorite psychic type is definitely going to be my boy. Favorite bug type is probably going to be Scyther. Favorite rock type, that's where I'm going to go with Golem. Yeah. Favorite ghost type, obviously Gengar. Favorite dragon type, we're going to go with Dragonite. Favorite dark type, these were dark types? What a weird, okay, I guess we'll go with missing no, sure. Steel type, I mean, between Magnemite and Magnetime. I guess Magnemite's pretty cool. Fairy, we're gonna go with, I mean, I like Jigglypuff enough, but Clefairy's pretty iconic. Favorite starter is gonna have to be Bulbasaur. Favorite gimmick form from this generation. So this is all of the gimmicks from every generation. I have never seen the Kingler right there, but I want him. How do I get that Kingler? I want him so bad. Is that in Sword and Shield? Because I need him. Let's see. I didn't really like any of the Mega Evolutions. I guess we'll go with the Charizard. He's probably the coolest. Favorite legendary from this is gonna be, I mean, I really like Mew. My favorite of all time, my favorite of all of these. No Steelix, that'll be next generation. We got so many Pokemon to get through, that's why I need to hurry. My favorite of all time from Gen 1. What an impossibly difficult list. I'm gonna go with Alakazam. That was tough. All right, Gen 2, normal. My favorite normal type in Gen 2 is gonna be, probably Smeargle. I like Smeargle a lot. Favorite fire type in this gen, oh man, I gotta go with my boy Entei. Favorite water type, I really liked Feraligatr, but I also just straight up love Totodile. We're just gonna go with straight up Totodile. Favorite grass type in Gen 1. Celebi feels too easy. Like, I mean, it's a legendary. I actually really liked Blossom. Favorite electric type in Gen 1. Ooh, man. I'm gonna go, I don't know. Elekid. We're gonna go with Elekid. He's cool. You guys already know. Favorite fighting type, definitely Heracross. Favorite poison type, ooh, yes. We love it. Favorite ground type, I really liked Gligar. Gligar was pretty sweet. Raikou robbed, you're not wrong. But definitely not my favorite legendary dogs. I liked Entei more than Raikou. I really liked Gligar. Yeah, I really liked Gligar. Favorite flying type in this gen. Ooh, man, it stinks that they have the legendaries, dude. The legendaries make this so difficult. I wish they didn't count. Because it's really hard not to pick one of the legendaries. Even Delibird, I mean, I gotta pick Delibird, but that feels wrong since I already picked him once. I don't know! Why do the legendaries count? Why do they count? Why do you say it's simple? Are you gonna say Lugia or Ho-Oh? I know you like Ho-Oh. I like Lugia. That doesn't feel right though. He doesn't feel like that should count. Why does that count as a Gen 1? Let's see. Not Gen 1. As a Togekiss is obviously the choice. Let's see. Favorite psychic type? I actually really didn't like the psychics in this gen. I guess we'll go with Espeon. Let's see. Favorite bug type? It's gotta be Heracross. It's just gotta be, as much as I love Caesar. Heracross, sorry. I know, we're doubling down, and I just said I wouldn't do that with the flying type, so I shouldn't. Caesar. Rock type. Ooh. Favorite rock type? I never used Sudowoodo a single day. Never liked Sudowoodo beyond its, like, premise. Didn't know that Corsola was a rock type until right now. I guess Shuckle. Favorite ghost type? What choice do I have? Favorite dragon type? What choice do I have? Favorite dark type? Obviously Umbreon. Steel type is probably going to be... Oh, see, I could have picked Caesar here. Skarmory. Favorite fairy... No, let's just go with the straight up Togepi. Who doesn't love Togepi? Favorite starter was Totodile. Gimmick form, kind of forgot they had. Slugma was a good episode of the anime. Remind me about Slugma's episode. I do not. I remember the Heracross episode, and I loved that one. I don't really like any of these. Can I pick none? I guess let's go with Fabio. Favorite legendary, probably gonna be Entei. It's probably gonna be Entei. So my favorite all around in this gen is obviously Delibird, which is just unfair. It's just cruel. Okay, favorite of Gen 3. Let's get into it. Favorite Gen 3. What's it gonna be in the normal category? Probably gonna be Kecleon. Love Kecleon. Favorite fire type. Oh boy. I really liked Combusken. Favorite water type. It still feels wrong to have Kyogre down there, you know? I'm not gonna say it, so don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. I'm not gonna say it. Don't even think about it. Torkoal Supremacy. I'll have to look into it to try to remember that episode. Honestly, I'm not really about any of these water types. Yeah, I'm not about any of them. I guess we'll go with Mudkip. Okay, favorite grass type is definitely not gonna be the C-Dot line. Let's go with Roselia. I like Roselia a lot. Electric type. None of them. None of them. I don't like any of them. Not a single one. I guess let's go with this Plusle? We'll go with Plusle. Ice type. Oh man, the Reggie's counting this one? Oh boy. Let's go with Spheal. I love that little guy. Favorite fighting type. I feel obligated to do Hariyama for Xando. Especially because I don't really like any of them and I already chose Combusken. So I guess let's go with Hariyama. Favorite poison type. None of them. None of them. I don't like any of them. We're going to double dip. We're going to double dip with Roselia here. Maybe that means I can change my grass type to something else. No, I'm fine with that. Favorite ground type in this gen. Probably Vibrava. Favorite flying type in this gen. Man, that just feels wrong, dude. It took me a decade to figure out how to get a Glalie. Yeah. For real. That was a random line. A random line of Pokemon. Favorite flying type. I guess we'll go with Salamence. Favorite psychic type. I mean, Deoxys is on here. Who are you supposed to pick? All these legendaries are on here. It just doesn't feel right to have all these legendaries on here. It messes everything up. Metagross, that way we don't have to pick. Sure. I don't really have any particular tie to that psychic type. Let's see. Favorite bug in this gen is probably going to be Shedinja. Or no, that's not Shedinja. That's the other one. But I like that one, whatever its name is. Favorite rock type is definitely not going to be Nosepass. It's definitely not going to be Nosepass. We'll do Relicanth here. Favorite ghost type in this gen, probably going to be my boy. Sableye there. Favorite dragon type. I already did Salamence, right? I already did Vibrava. What's its name? What is its name? I guess we'll do a legendary. It's going to be Rayquaza. Favorite dark type. Nosepass gets favorite. It absolutely does not. If Perry were here, I still wouldn't do it. I guess let's go with Absol. Absol's pretty cool. Favorite steel type in this gen. Jirachi was steel type? I didn't know that. We'll go with Aggro Boy. Fairy type. My favorite of the Ralts line was Ralts, so we're just going to stick with Ralts. Starter is probably going to be Combusken. Gimmick form? Oh, there were a lot in this gen, huh? Favorite? I like Sableye and his little diamond he's hiding behind. Jirachi was a mutt, seriously. Favorite legendary in this gen? Probably Rayquaza. Favorite of all? This was kind of a weak gen, really. Gen 3, favorite of all. I guess we're gonna go with either Combuskin or Kecleon. I'm gonna go with Combuskin, since it clearly seemed to rule the pack here. All right, Gen 4. Gen 4, favorite normal type in Gen 4 is gonna be... I liked Munchlax a whole lot. We'll go with Munchlax. Favorite fire type? I mean, come on, the Fire Monkey was the best. Favorite water type? I think we're gonna go with Bleach here. Favorite grass type? I mean, Leafeon, obviously. Favorite electric? It's got to be Luxray, probably, right? Or Pachirisu. Luxray or Pachirisu? I'm very tempted to say Pachirisu just because I love Pachirisu, but... yeah, we're going to go Pachirisu. Favorite ice type? I like Abomasnow. Favorite fighting type is obviously going to be Chaboy. Favorite poison type? Roserade. Favorite ground type? Rhyperior has grown on me, honestly. It's either Rhyperior or Garchomp, but I'll probably choose Garchomp for Dragon, so we'll go with Rhyperior for this one. I didn't think I would like Rhyperior, but I've gotten used to him, and now I kind of love him. Favorite flying type? I like Murkrow. I like Murkrow more than Gliscor. Let's see. Favorite psychic type in this gen? Probably going to be Gallade. Favorite bug type? None of them. I don't like one of them. I guess we'll go with the Dragonfly evolution that I don't even remember its name. Favorite rock type is definitely not Probopass. Absolutely not. We'll go with... isn't this Rampardos? Is that its name? And favorite dragon type, oops, Garchomp's not a dragon. No, this is Ghost. Favorite ghost type is gonna be, I like Dusclops, or whatever Dusclops' final form is. Yeah, we're gonna do Garchomp here. I'm not doing legendaries in these base stats. It just doesn't feel right. Favorite steel or dark? Favorite dark type? Weavile, I guess. Steel type, Nosepass 2.0, still does not get it. Steel type, it just feels so wrong to choose any of the legendaries. I guess we'll go with Empoleon. Favorite fairy type? What choices? I guess we'll go with Togetic or whatever it was. And favorite starter was definitely going to be the Fire Monkey. Favorite gimmick? It didn't get as many gimmicks this time, huh? I guess we'll go with Lucario. Favorite legendary, I mean, I chose Dialga, so I guess we'll go with that, but I could just go Arceus and just call it a day. Favorite of all from this generation is probably going to be Leafeon. Leafeon's my favorite evolution after all. Gen 5, this is what we're playing right now that I know nothing about, that we're still learning about all these. So, favorite normal type from Gen 5, let me look at all of them, because I got to remember who they are. I guess we'll go with Minccino. Favorite fire type from this gen? Honestly, just because I use it so much in the card game, I might say Darmanitan. Favorite water type? I guess we'll go with Oshawott final evolution. Favorite grass type? Man, I'm telling you. When you don't know a gen, you just don't know a gen. Don't know any from here, that's what I'm saying. I like Deerling. Favorite electric type will definitely be the Zebstrika. Zebstrika. Favorite ice type is going to be, for sure, the Ice Cream Cone. Actually, I really like Beertick. Fighting type from this gen, I like Throw and Sock a lot. So I guess we'll go with one of them. Since Throw is being kind of our mainstay in our playthrough, we'll go with that. Poison type, we'll go with Amogus. Favorite ground type, Crocodile, sure. Flying type from this gen is going to be another tough one. I feel like we should choose Swoobat because Swoobat has kind of, you know, been our loyal compatriot. Favorite psychic type in this gen. We'll do the dreaming Pokemon, whatever its name is, Musharna. Favorite bug type is definitely going to be Crustle. Favorite rock type, that should have been Crustle. We'll do the turtle, even though I don't have him. Favorite ghost type in this gen would definitely be the first form, Litwick. Favorite dragon type in this gen, look, it's like mostly legendaries here. I like the first form of that guy, whatever his name is. Dark type. I still like this guy because he reminds me of Dino Kid from Undertale. Steel type. I guess we'll go with the not Poniard, but whatever the next one is. Fairy. Well, what options? We'll go with Whimsicott since I know that one's name. Favorite starter in this gen. I didn't really like any of the starters in this gen. I guess we'll go with Oshawott. Favorite gimmick form from this gen. Ooh, there's not much. Don't like him though, so we're gonna go with her. Favorite legendary from this gen. Haven't experienced any of them in the game yet, so it's a little hard for me to actually like weigh in. But Victini's cute. And favorite all around in this gen. None of them. Man, I don't like any of them. I guess we'll go with Throw. All right. Gen 6. We're making headway. Here we go. Making headway. Gen 6. Favorite normal type. From Gen 6. I didn't honestly know that the lions were normal types. I guess we'll go with the Mega Kangaskhan. Why not? Because he gets his little buddy out of his sack there. Fire type. I don't know, dude. I guess the little fox. Foxes are cute. Favorite water type from this one is definitely gonna be the Ninja. Favorite grass type. I actually hardcore like the Phantump line. Favorite electric type from this gen. I guess we'll go with Dedenne. Favorite ice type from this gen. I like the little iceberg. Favorite fighting type from this gen. Pangoro for sure. Ooh, wait. Hawlucha or Pangoro? That's really tough. Work for work, back in a bit. We'll see you, Sneaky. I need Zando's opinion there. I don't know who I should pick between Hawlucha and Pangoro. Favorite poison type is going to be my Gengar boy, I guess. Favorite ground type. Did they do anything with Gen 6, or was Gen 6 just a bunch of other Pokemon? How many new Pokemon were there in Gen 6? Because every single time I see it, it's just mega evolutions of past generations. I guess we'll go with Drillbur or whatever his name is. Okay. Favorite flying type. Holy moly. I mean, what in the world? They just filled this game. Here we go. Now we need to do. Hawlucha will go here. Pangoro will go here. Boom, jams. All right. Psychic type from this gen. I guess we'll go with Alakazam again. Oh boy. I mean, what were they thinking? There's one bug in Gen 6. There's one bug. There's a bug in Gen 6. Favorite rock type. I always liked this guy. He's just straight up a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Favorite ghost type. Like I said, I really like Phantump, so I guess we'll go with Phantump's next evolution. Dragon type. Dragon type. Let's go with Goodra. Why not? It's really all they did. Gen 6 had no Pokemon. Favorite dark type in this gen? See, I could have picked Pangoro here too as well. Guess we'll go with that Mega Absol. Favorite steel type? I guess we can finally go with the Keychain. Favorite fairy type? Oof. Just none of them, dude. Just none of them. Can I pick none, please? Why does this one have such a cool flower? I'm picking that one just because I like its flower. Favorite starter type in this gen, I guess, would be the ninja. The ninja of Gru. Favorite gimmick? I mean, it's all of them. They're all gimmicks. I guess we're going to go with my Gengar boy. Favorite legend? I don't know any of these legendaries. I mean, I don't know any of them. I guess we'll go with the deer one. And favorite of all time from this gen is either going to be Hawlucha or Pangoro. Let me go with Hawlucha. Okay, Gen 7, finally. We're back to some that I actually know because I absolutely did play this game. Gotta head to an appointment. We'll catch you later. Wise and Lemur, see ya. Let's see. Favorite normal type from this gen. There were a lot of good ones. I really like Beware a lot. I like that he's just a dude and not in a costume. We're gonna go Beware. Favorite fire type from this gen. Really liked Litten a lot. Favorite water type from this gen. I kind of liked Wimpod and his whole lineup, but I also really liked Pyukimuku. So we're gonna go with him. I like that he just spits his organs on people. My little owl, my little circle owl. Electric type. I hardcore really liked the Raichu design in this game. I was a big fan of what they did with Raichu. But I also really like Charge-a-Bug. And I'm gonna go with Raichu. Ice type. Favorite ice type, obviously the Vulpix. Favorite fighting type. Why is the other monkey not in this one? The other monkey was just fighting or just normal type? I guess we'll go with Buzzswole just because he's hilarious for the memes. For the memes! Favorite poison type from this gen is probably... I actually really liked the designs for Grimer and Muck, so we're going to go with Alolan Muck. Ground type is going to probably be Colossand. Favorite flying type in this gen is going to be... I mean, I already picked Rowlet, so I guess I'll go with the second form, Dartrix, whatever his name was. Okay, favorite psychic type is probably going to be the monkey for this one. Favorite bug type, that's where I can pick my Charge-a-Bug. Favorite rock type in this gen is going to have to be one of... I think I'm going to do just plain old Rockruff. Favorite ghost type is definitely going to be my boy. Oh, wait, Marowak. Oh, no, and Mimikyu. Oh, we got to go with Mimikyu. I feel bad for my hooded boy, but you know what? It's just tough. It's just tough. Dragon type, obviously the dragon. Dragon, rock the dragon. Dragon Ball. Favorite dark type, we'll go with Incineroar here. Favorite steel type, we'll go with my boy. We'll go with Sandslash here. Favorite fairy type, that's where Mimikyu can go, so I can change Mimikyu to something else. Let's go with the Marowak here. Favorite starter, see, here's an opportunity for me to pick my boy. Favorite gimmick form, like I said, I hardcore love this Raichu. Favorite legendary, mine was definitely Solgaleo, but honestly, I just kind of like straight up Cosmog. I think Cosmog's pretty cute. Favorite all around from this gen is gonna be my little round boy. Gotta be my little round boy. All right, Gen 8. We are making progress, folks. We're almost there. We're 2 gens left. Mimikyu is also fairy. Oranguru is normal psychic. See, Zando, you were on the same page where we're able to figure out how to make them all, how to pick them all. All right, favorite normal type. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to scroll down, huh? All right, favorite normal type from Gen 8. I'm gonna go with Steve Zaragoza there. He's my favorite little boy. Let's see, favorite fire type. Man, this isn't fair. Ah, why did they include Arceus in here? That's gonna make it so tough. I guess we'll go with Scorbunny, but I feel bad about it. Really want to pick Arcanine. All right, favorite water type from this gen. I actually really liked Sobble a whole lot. I was a big fan of Sobble. But Cramorant is so funny. Cramorant will probably turn up again in water type, but I might not pick him. Oh no, I am in water type. I mean in flying type. We're going to pick Sobble for now. I actually really like the starters from this gen. Favorite grass type? Arceus, why do you have to be in here, dude? Ah! That's going to make it impossible. Man, I liked Rillaboom a whole lot. All right, favorite electric type. Oh no! We're going to have to go with the Hisuian Voltorb. Let's see. Favorite ice type. I really liked Ice Cube a whole lot. I think he's very funny. But is he my favorite? He might be. He's so funny. Favorite fighting type. Fighting type for this gen. I did not know Zapdos was fighting type, by the way. That's news to me. Let's go with Surfetched. Favorite, what is this, poison type? Yeah, favorite poison type from this gen. It's so tough. I liked Slowbro with a gun. Favorite ground type. Now look how few options there are here, huh? We're going to go with Ursaluna. Favorite flying type. That's where I'm going to probably have to go with Cramorant. I just love him. I love Cramorant. Favorite fairy type from this gen. Oh, I loved the fairy type Rapidash. Ooh, that's really tough. Where's this psychic? Is this psychic or fairy? It's psychic. So maybe I'll still get to pick it in fairy. Favorite psychic type? Oh boy. I really liked Orbeetle a whole lot too. Man, this is so tough. So many good options. Gen 8 was a great gen. Phalanx was the best fighting in Gen 8 and you're wrong for thinking otherwise. I didn't even notice Phalanx was there. That's really funny. That's embarrassing. I do like Phalanx. He's great. I'm going to go with Orbeetle, but that's really tough. Oh no, wait, that's Mega Orbeetle. We'll go with regular Orbeetle. Is he not? Yeah, that's him. Okay, bug type. Favorite bug type in this one. See, now this would be a good chance to choose Orbeetle, but I also really liked the other guy. Now we'll go Orbeetle here, and then we'll change this one. We'll do Rapidash. Favorite rock type. Now we're talking. Now I get to choose one of my boys. We're probably still going to choose Arcanine here. Favorite ghost type. Unfortunately, I really like Dreepy, but I also really like Sinistea. I think we're going to go with Dreepy. Favorite, what is this, dragon? Favorite dragon type in this gen. Oh, there we go. I can choose Dreepy here, so I'll change this one. So favorite ghost type, we'll probably go with... Oh, boy. Yeah, now we'll go back with the Sinistea. Which one? Probably the normal first form. Let's see. All right, what is this? Dark type. Best dark type in this gen. I did really like the Fox, but I also really liked Grimmsnarl. Oh, no. How are these all so difficult? Oh, yeah, we got to go with Kiss. All right. Favorite, what is this? Steel type. Favorite steel type is probably going to be my boy. My boy. Favorite fairy type. I could choose my Grimmsnarl here. Favorite, what is this? Starter? My favorite starter was probably Scorbunny. Yeah, which means I can choose the soccer boy down here. So we're gonna do. All right, what is this favorite gimmick? Favorite gimmick form? Oh, they included Arceus as a gimmick. Acknowledges missing failings but doesn't change anything. I still really like my choice of Surfetched though. Favorite gimmick? It might have to be the Voltorb. Favorite legendary? I like Puppy with a Sword. I kind of like Puppy with a Sword. Yeah, Puppy with a Sword. Let's see. Let me look at Phalanx, dude. I don't know, man. Can I choose Phalanx over... Well, I didn't even choose Surfetched. I just choose Farfetch'd. Sure. We'll do Phalanx, but I feel bad. I feel bad for my Surfetched. And best all around, best of show in this gen. It's really between Scorbunny and Voltorb. I really liked that Hisuian Voltorb. And I really liked Corviknight a lot. I think it's got to be Scorbunny. Please post this link in Discord. I absolutely will, Xando. Okay, final gen. We're down to the last gen. Then we just got to pick the best of the best. All right. Gen 9, the gen that just came out that I enjoyed so much. We already know my answer for the first one is most certainly going to be my boy Tandemaus. Favorite fire type? I really like Charcadet. A big fan of that line in general. So I think we're going to go with Mega Man. Favorite water type in this gen? I really like the little Sushi fish, and I really like the hero fish. I think we're going to go with the hero form in particular of the hero dolphin. Favorite grass type? Oh boy, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough not to choose my little Kit Kat. I got to choose my Kit Kat. Favorite electric type from this gen? This was a great gen. Gen 9 was a great gen, dude. Look at all these excellent Pokemon. Probably going to be Bellibolt. Favorite ice type? None of them really. I guess I'm going to go with Iron Bundle. Favorite fighting type from this new gen is probably going to have to be the dead Primeape. Favorite poison type? We'll go with the monkey. The monkey bat. Favorite ground type, is that right? Favorite ground type from this gen? I guess we'll go with sure. He ain't gonna win anything. Favorite flying type? I did use Flamigo a whole lot. I'm probably gonna go with Flamigo. Favorite, what is this? Psychic type? Best psychic type from this new gen? They really didn't have any good psychics, so I guess I'm gonna choose the Pokemon. Favorite bug type? I actually hardcore liked him, even though nobody else did. Favorite rock type? There was this rock or steel? Yeah, rock. I liked the salt guy. Favorite, what is this? Ghost type? I like Gimmighoul, but I also really like the Bramblin, and I also really like the Puppy Dog. We're going with first form Puppy Dog. All right, what is this? Dragon type? We're going with Sushi. Sushi is my favorite dragon in the new gen. Steel type, my favorite new steel. Where's this dark? Favorite new dark. I really like, what's his name? King Gambit. Favorite, this is steel. Favorite new steel type. I like the bird killer. Favorite new fairy. Yeah, why not? I like the dog. Favorite starter is gonna have to be the grass cat. Favorite gimmick. Were there really only that many gimmicks? I guess I like the fire Tauros. Favorite legendary. Legendaries were okay. I personally like the electric one. And favorite all around in this new gen? I guess we're going to go with Tandemaus. That's really tough for me, though. Okay. I just realized I never chose Blissey. Shame on me. I chose Smeargle over Blissey. Wow. That's pretty surprising. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm sorry. Well, I'll try and scroll down and make sure that I don't do that. Okay. Favorite all around normal type. My favorite normal type of all normal types. I think I'm going to have to go with the new kid in town. It's got to be Tandemaus. Favorite fire type of all time. I think it's got to be Entei. Favorite water type of all time. You really can't beat the classic. Lapras. Favorite grass type of all time. Oh, man, that's tough. So I'll be honest with you. It's between Bulbasaur, Leafeon, Rowlet. Yeah. I think I've got to go with Bulby Boy. He's just a classic. He's just an icon. He's an icon. Tandemaus over Mousehold. Oh, that is Mousehold. My bad. I think that's Mousehold. Yeah, it's got the little babies hiding behind it. I knew, my eyes knew what I was saying, but my mouth didn't. Favorite electric type of all time? Probably going to be that Hisuian Voltorb. Yeah, Voltorb. I just love it. I love that design. Favorite ice type? Obviously Delibird. Favorite fighting type of all time? This is really tough. Another one that's really tough for me. I'm between Machamp and Heracross. It's the first two gens that are neck and neck for me. I think I gotta go with my boy. I think I gotta go with Heracross. Man, that's tough. Okay. Pretty obviously Gengar. For poison type, though? That just seems so silly. Okay, favorite ground type? That's probably still going to be Cubone. Gen 1, can't go wrong. Favorite flying type? It's between Dragonite and Hawlucha. I think we're going to go with Dragonite. Favorite psychic type is Alakazam. Favorite bug type is probably just going to be the classic Scyther. You really can't go wrong. Favorite rock type? It's really between Golem and Rockruff, and I'm going to stick with Golem. Favorite ghost type? I mean, it's got to be Gengar. I feel guilty choosing Gengar twice, but Gengar's my boy. Favorite dragon type of all time? Maybe I'll choose Dragonite here, and then I'll change this one to Hawlucha. I feel good about that. Favorite steel type? Or no, this is dark type of all time. I really like King Gambit. Favorite steel type of all time? There's not really a good steel type. I'm going to go with Corviknight. Favorite fairy type of all time? Mimikyu. Favorite starter of all time? Ah! It's got to be Bulbasaur. Favorite gimmick of all time? Gotta be Voltorb. Favorite legendary of all time is one of these? Really? I guess it's gonna be Entei. And favorite of all time of all time. Favorite of all time. Welcome in to Brent from Discord. We are ranking every Pokemon ever. We're glad you're here. Thank you for introducing yourself, because I would not have recognized List Legion TD2. But we're glad that you're here. But I recognize your username, Legion TD2. That's a tower defense, yeah? It's a game. So now I'm making the connection. Favorite of all time of all time. Favorite of all time of all time. Wow. Favorite of all time of all time. I'll tell you who it's between. It's between 4 Pokemon. Delibird, Maushold, Gengar, Alakazam. But I love all of them. They're all my children. These are all my children. I mean, we gotta go with Delibird. We gotta go with Delibird. He's my boy. He's my boy. He's my boy. My son. Look at this. Look at how many Pokemon we've ranked, dude. And look, there's even more. There's even more. There's so much. Favorite regional bird? It would probably be the Corviknight line. Favorite regional mammal? This would probably be the little squirrel. Favorite regional bug? I really like the Poindexter. Favorite pseudo legendary? Would probably be Dragonite. Favorite Pikachu clone would be Pachirisu. Oh, no, Mimikyu, my bad. It would either be Pachirisu or Mimikyu. Favorite evolution is Leafeon. Favorite fossil is probably going to be Aerodactyl. Favorite regional form is probably going to be the Vulpix. No, Voltorb. Favorite Gigantamax is going to probably be... Oh, I chose Gigantamax Corviknight earlier. I didn't even realize that. I didn't really like any of the Gigantamaxes that much, but I guess we'll go with the giant soccer ball. Favorite box legendary? Ooh, that's really tough. Probably Lugia. Favorite mythical is probably going to be Mew. Favorite Ultra Beast? I don't like any of the Ultra Beasts that much, but I guess it's going to be Buzzwole. Favorite Paradox Pokemon? I mean, I guess it's going to be Iron Bundle. I don't feel really good about that choice, though. Favorite type of all time? Of all time? Probably Grass type. Favorite Pokeball of all time? You really can't go wrong with the classic, but I super like the new Arceus ones. Favorite Spinda? I don't know Spinda. Favorite Vivillon? I like the purple one. Favorite Alchemy? Didn't know there were different forms of Alchemy, but we're going to go with the classic. Yeah, with the purple. Yeah. There you go. Uh-oh. Oh, I can pick my team. This is like my iconic team. It'd definitely be... What? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. What is happening? What is happening? What's going on? What have I done? Stop this. Stop this. Download the image. Stop this. All right, so there are your results. This is the ultimate list of ultimate Pokemon of all time. Let's see. Lisk, what's the most recent Pokemon game that you've played? We're actually going to be playing one here today, here in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to be playing Pokemon White. So that is the most recent Pokemon game that I've played, and that's the one we'll be playing here in just a little bit. So that is what we're currently working through. I played all the Pokemon games up until Diamond and Pearl. Then I took a break, and then I missed Black and White 1 and 2, and then I missed X and Y. Then I got back into it with Sun and Moon in college, and I've played every one since. So we're going back and playing those 2 on streams, and should be fun. All right, we're going to take a quick break just to stretch your legs, go take a break, look away from a screen, get a snack, go to the restroom, whatever you got to do. We're going to be back in 3 minutes, and I hope that you'll take a second to yourself to just kind of debrief. If you work at a desk and you sit down all day, maybe stand up for just a minute. Whatever you got to do, take a break for yourself, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. Alright, mate, I know what you're here for. I'm the one robot that don't sound like a robot. You're asking me to take a dive, but I can't accommodate you, mate. Got special orders, isn't it? That is his voice. That is his voice. I nailed it. I nailed it. Got special orders, isn't it? Looking to trade something special we can do. I might even give you something you can win. But I can't be taking a dive. PO3, you understand? I love that I nailed his voice without even needing to, dude. Heck yes. So good at games. Great voice, 10 out of 10, best voice ever. The fact that I nailed it right away makes me real proud of myself.
Directly to the cause, and I think it's so. That's one of the things I was wondering. Is,
hey, Breach just donated that.
Sweet, thank you so much. It makes a huge difference. So one whole dollar of that dollar will go towards you know.
It took up my entire screen.
Did it? Do you have the alert box set to full?
Do you have the alert set to full?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Oh my gosh!
That is the most exciting dollar that's ever been
so loud. Oh my goodness! We went a whole extra hour.
I can't believe we went a whole hour.
This one has like a little bit of a Valley Girl tone. It's also awful.
And this one is fine. Extra hour game.
There you go. Way too dank. Way past cool.
You love to see it.
Number 15. Other than Leshy, the scribe of beasts. And a beast he is, arrogant, single-minded, obsessed with gaining power. But he is far from the worst scribe to become hegemon. You see, the ejection of my eyeball is far from the worst thing that could happen around here. You must be... What? What? What have you done? What have you done, Perspectus? You've summoned him. You've summoned the boy. The green boy. Yeah! This is Lonk. Hello, everybody. Lonk is here. Yeah. I don't know if anybody ever clipped that. I think that might just exist in our imaginations forever. I live in front of a green screen. Yeah. I am Groot. I am Groot. My Rosa Corsa Ferrari. 10 minutes somewhere is 10 minutes anywhere. But somehow one hurts more than the other. When I'm driving to the coffee shop. Yeah. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am. Welcome back. Hope that you enjoyed a little stretch break and got away from the computer for a second, or the phone, or whatever you're watching this on. We're glad that you're here. Welcome back to Checkpoint Church. We're going to be playing some Pokemon White here in just a moment. Should be having a good time. List Legion, if you're still here, let us know more about yourself. We'd love to get to know you better. I know you're over in the Discord as Brent, but we'd love to have you here and get to know you better. Normally these streams just look like hanging out, so whatever we feel like doing, whatever we feel like talking about, we can talk about. But for the most part, it's pretty lax, pretty casual. I did have a little bit of a panic attack while I was off taking my little break because I looked at my phone and saw that my latest TikTok is doing well, which always scares me. Always scares me whenever TikTok does well because I never know if it's doing well for a good reason or if I'm going to get in trouble. And this seems to be a good one, so hopefully we're all right. But somebody put out there because they were watching The Last of Us, and they put out this like long message of saying like, hey gamers, how could you never tell us that good stories exist in video games? Sincerely, a book reader is essentially what it said. And so I responded and I was like, oh, you don't even know who you're messing with. Like, let me go ahead and tell you. And I just name dropped like 10 of my favorite stories in video games. So we shall see who agrees with me. I always worry about narrative video games because it's too often that you find like dude bro gamers that are just like, oh no man, if I'm not shooting a gun, then I'm not even playing games, bro. Let's go. Like if we don't do that, then I have issues. So I gotta have games that have a really rich story. And sometimes that works with people and sometimes they call them just like walking sims. So not denying that they are kind of walking sims, but I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with a walking sim. Lifelong gamer, love Pokemon, love God. My friend Kate Catherine told me about you and Checkpoint. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm glad that Kate let you know about us, and congratulations to her as well with her clergy appointment and getting approved for everything like that. So big, exciting stuff. New dad, December 2022. Welcome. You're in a good place. A lot of nerdy dads in this space, and a lot of recently nerdy dads. We certainly have some that have been dads for quite a while, but there are also plenty of us that are relatively new. I have a 4-year-old and a 10-month-old, so I definitely know the new dad lifestyle. But hoo boy, December, that's a new baby. That is a new baby. Let's see, 3 months in, you're probably just now starting to get your normal life back. That's the way it goes, and it'll go and come and go and come, and it'll be gone again and back again. So I feel you there, but that's fun times. I love babies, but I definitely like when they're not babies anymore, as well. It's all good. It's all good except for whenever you're tired and it's not good. But even then, it's still a little good. We're going to get into Pokemon. We're going to play some Pokemon today and find out how this goes and what we think about the game. We're a couple badges deep. We're really not too far from the end of the game. As I understand it, we are just now starting the journey into the Team Rocket comparison here. So we will probably be taking down the boss man, whoever the boss man is, today, and then as soon as we're done with that, getting the last couple badges and then the Elite Four. So we should be nearing the end of this game. Don't know where I am, don't know what's happening right now. Is something going wild at the top of the tower? Ah! Are you playing on an emulator or something? How do you stream this? I may or may not be playing on an emulator. But I do own the game, I assure you. And do let me know if it's way too loud, because right now, I'm not gonna lie, it feels a little crazy loud. That could just be on my end. It looks real loud. I'm gonna turn down more. Seems a lot louder in your voice. Maybe that's just me. No, it probably is. I'm gonna crank it down right there and see if that's any better. Whoopsie, didn't do that. Oh boy, Crazy Frog is almost dead, huh? All right, Crazy Frog, let's hope you're faster here. Yeah, just go for it. Hopefully you're faster. Looks like you are. Yeah, I actually need to, I really need to go and invest in all the Pokemon games on my 2DS. Because it's pretty, we're pretty close at this point. They're closing the shop right around the corner. Won't be much longer. Sad end of an era. If anybody's going to get rid of their storefront, it's going to be Nintendo. Check! What's up, Sharon? You can walk on the fallen columns, too. I'm going after Team Plasma. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. The random encounters in this game are just... They're buck wild, dude. They're crazy. I don't know what they're thinking. Lisk, what's your favorite Pokemon game? And are you into any other video games? What else are you into? We do PokeMondays, but we also play other games throughout the week. But I am a big Pokemon fan, and I found that I was exclusively playing Pokemon. And so I was like, I've got to just differentiate it to one day so that I don't become a Pokemon streamer. Pokemon Red for nostalgia, but probably Gold for my favorite experience. I've played all through Black and White and then took a break and then played Arceus. Did you love Arceus? Because Arceus was like a top 10 game for me. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's pretty much a perfect experience. Fire Red is one of my favorites. Fire Red, Emerald, and Arceus are some of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. I'm afraid we're just going to bump Crazy Frog to the front. Enjoyed it for sure, but took a little while to get into. Also got tilted by the Buizel quest. Otherwise, a great game. There were definitely some quests in there that were pretty maddening. There was one that I remember getting really frustrated with. I just want another one. I desperately want another one. Ronin's getting real strong. Did I just say level 37? Oh, actually, I'm just very weak. Okay, well, Boaz definitely needs some help. So we're gonna take Ronin, buddy. We're gonna take your item away and we're gonna give it to Boaz. I'm afraid Boaz is gonna need the experience share. It's up at the top. I will say this, something about this game in particular, I do not like the UI. Played like 3,000 hours of League of Legends from 2010 to 2017, but that's sort of behind me now, but still a big part of my gaming history. We have some League people at Checkpoint for sure. I'm not a big competitive person in general. I don't really compete. And so so that's kind of an issue for, I don't really get into LOL and stuff like that. But we definitely have some people that love LOL. You might be with H-Man and B-Surfer. They, or he loves League. Danny G loves League, which is Yeet the Boots, Yeet the Beats over on the Discord. Those are our two, resident League players. I played League for, a hot month in college, and I had a particularly toxic experience, as most people do, but I got my feelings hurt quicker, I guess. I wasn't ready for the heat. I couldn't take the heat, so I got out of the metaphorical kitchen, as it were. Otherwise, I love JRPGs, played almost all the Tales of franchise, Chrono Trigger, Cross, or top games for me. Also played a lot of Final Fantasy. Have you played Octopath? Octopath 2 just came out and I'm super hyped. I'm ready to get into it. I've already played a lot of Final Fantasy and the Chrono Trigger and Cross games and some of the Tales of. Really just Tales of Symphonia is the only Tales. Oh yeah, don't do the Octopath free-to-play. Octopath 1 was really good. The free-to-play was okay at best. And Octopath 2 supposedly iterates on Octopath 1 in all the right ways. I'm not surprised the free-to-play did not do it for you. That would be kind of like Fire Emblem Like people comparing Fire Emblem Heroes to Fire Emblem the game. They're just different. Different gaming models with familiar overlap. Thank you for the Stardust. They also have magnificent music. I actually think that Chrono Cross's composer might be the composer for Octopath. I could be wrong about that. That's honestly a Xando question. Xando is our resident video game music expert. It's the main reason I even played Octopath, yeah. And the music is fantastic. The story is good in Octopath, but apparently Octopath 2, the story is even better because it's a little more coherent and connected, and they managed to make the characters relate a little bit more. Well, that's a lot of baddies. He was Arnold, I think. Jack will hold me, you go on the head. Okay. This is nothing, but there sure are a lot of them. Oh, what a complete bother. Yeah, alright, if I have to lose, at least it's to the gym leader. Okay. I had my friends who are composers and musicians compose and perform some Chrono Cross tracks for my wedding. That's amazing! I love that. That's such a cool trend. I don't know if I would have been able to get that by my wife, but there's a chance I could have. I regret never trying, not knowing that it was a possibility. The other tracks were hymns, don't worry. Hey, no judgment here. Well, that's what's so funny is we definitely didn't have hymns at our wedding. We just did like, not even contemporary Christian. We just did like secular music, the devil's music. And yeah, I could have gotten away with video game music. I bet she would have let me. One hit KO. Good job, Chuck. Continues to hold down the fort for us. I don't understand you guys. Another one. I will hurt anyone who disobeys Team Plasma. Liper to dark type. That Liper to dark type. Just see if I got enough oomph. See if I got the oomph to do it. So Lisk, are you just a big fan of Legion TD2? Or did you work on it? Are you like a game dev? I know you said you knew composers and musicians, so maybe there's a chance you're connected to the video game scene in that way. Really gotta get more potions. Especially as I'm just clearing through these baddies. I'm strong, I can win, and came here. Yeah, I can. I can win, I will win. I'm the founder and director, didn't mean to advertise or anything, I forgot on my work account. You are all good. Feel free to advertise. That's super cool. fighting type. Is it fighting ground though? We'll find out. And you weren't advertising, I asked. That's definitely one scene I would love to get into more. We, for Advent of our first year at Checkpoint, made a visual novel and launched our own little video games division. But it's so hard to get like people that have day jobs together to work on something. And so we have another game in the works, but it's like daunting of a process. I have a murder mystery that I'm writing in the meantime, and then we're working on a platformer together. But it's just like, it's when you work 40 hours a week and you're raising kiddos, with what time, you know? Do you use fungus or something similar? Whenever it came to our visual novel, we used twine. I thought about Renpy. I was between Renpy and twine, but we decided on twine. It seemed like the most like we're all working separately, and so it felt like something that was the easiest to just like shift files back and forth. Worked out well. But for my mystery game, I haven't decided what I'll use. I want it to be like point and click, a la like Sierra. And so trying to figure out how to make that work and to figure out what platform would be the best for that. I don't know. But that'll be solo. For our platformer, we're thinking about using, oh, what's it called? I can't remember. It's escaping me. But it's another plug and play. I just think the plug and plays are so much easier than learning how to code. I hate to say it, but I just don't have the time to learn to code. The minimal amount of coding in Twine was more than enough. We had somebody that was really doing more of that for me. You're probably seeing ads right now, though. Oopsie doopsie. I just kept on talking. Same way, I was gonna work on a humorous visual novel after work for fun, was using fungus and avoiding code as much as possible. Well, I will say, Twine was super user-friendly. I don't know fungus, but I'll have to look into it. If it's working well, then I'm glad to hear it. And this is coming from someone who has with 10 plus years of full-time code, wrote 600,000 lines of code for work. Yeah, I know none of it. I'm actually reading a book right now called How to Make a Video Game All by Yourself by Matt Hackett. And he talks about that in the game of in the book, he's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And not everyone has to code to still be a video game producer. You can be a video game producer whether you use a pre-built engine or whether you use a plug and play or a graphic UI, design, whatever. You're still a producer. No need to gatekeep. Scraggy. Scraggy might be a fighting type. I'm like 99% sure. a good little bot. Rock-a-rock. Let's try Ronan. Let's see if Ronan's fire can do something about this ground type. Wait, I'm backwards, aren't I? Oh no! I think I might be backwards. Is he super effective against me? No, no, no! This was the opposite of what I wanted. I can't remember. Let's find out. I'm worried he might be super effective against me. Oh, don't dig. Oh, don't dig. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. I think I'm backwards. I really just need to print it out and put it above my, like, whiteboard here. Let's see. I just don't have any good moves for you. Odds are you're going to do a bunch of ground type moves, so hopefully I have a second that I can restore. Crazy Frog a little bit. Yeah. Nice. Ouch! That was so strong! That didn't have to be so strong. Please don't dig again. Please don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Confused. You didn't have to do that. All right, Crazy Frog. You can do it, buddy. I believe in you, Crazy Frog. Focus. Yeah, that's the boy. That's how we do it. You've lost your motivation. Oh no. Oh, come on. This really is a dragon spiral if I've ever seen one. Just keeps going. And I'm sure this is going to be stacked with Golets, right? I hope they have somebody that's going to heal me at the end of this. Thank you. I'm glad there aren't Golets everywhere. The first time I haven't had non-stop REs since I started this game. No way! Is this where I came in? No, there weren't steps. So now I'm going back down Dragon Spiral? Ah! It is where I came in! What? No way! I totally went to the other side. Was I trying to get to the center? What? Were those steps? Those are steps up? Dude. Those steps clearly just go over to the other side. No way are those steps up. Oh, nonsense. How ridiculous. That wasn't at all it looked like those steps did. Burn, baby, burn. Sounds like something is on the rampage at the top of the tower. Yeah, can somebody heal me, please? It'd be great if I could just be healed, please. Oh! It's finally time. Our Lord Inn will become the hero! What? Someone made it clear up here. Now, stop that trainer for our Lord Inn! 4-on-1? Oh no. This is a little bit meme-worthy. Everyone who isn't Team Plasma is an enemy. Use all your powers to take them out. No one can interfere with Unova's new dawn. 4v1 feels like a bit much, doesn't it? Oh, man. Imagine how much more doomed we'd be if anybody used 6 Pokemon. No! 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 Chuck! No! Chuck, I needed you! Just when the world needed him most, he disappeared. Ah, gee whiz, dude. Maybe he won't be able to affect Ronan. Hopefully he doesn't have any dark type moves. I can heal Chuck. Max revives? No. Yeesh! Please don't have any dark type moves. Please don't have any dark type moves. Please don't have any dark type moves. I am begging you. Maybe he's not going to attack me. I'm just going to... Whoa! You never see a grunt withdraw. Rad. Crazy frog! Gotta run for now, making me want to whip out my DS. Thanks for the stream. Absolutely, Lisk. Well, thanks for being here. Well, we'll see you around the Discord. Be back on tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern, streaming whatever you guys pick over on the Discord. We vote on Tuesdays for a game for me to continue, a new game for me to try, a game for my backlog to draw out, or a game recommendation. And I think that people are trying to make me play Metroid, so stay tuned. You know, for some reason I thought that was going to work. But thanks for being here. I will switch my Pokemon. Thank you for asking. Not me checking emails on stream. I would never. I would never. Don't even suggest it. It would never happen. Don't even say it. No one will ever believe you. They'll say Nerd Pastor Nate. Checking emails on stream. That doesn't even sound like him. And they'd be right. Sheesh, losing to a kid with Team Plasma is more than one person. That's right, it's me who sounds the exact same way. Our dream is about to come true. No one will be able to stop us. I've really got to go through all 4 of these baddies, huh? Okay. Okay. Another Crocker-Rock. Hopefully it's Crazy Frog. It is! Boop-a-doo. I'm just straight up out of power points. No! Crocker-Rock! How dare you! How dare you! What do you think you are? Running around leaving scars. Collecting your jar of hearts. Who do you think you are? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul. That's what I say to everybody. You may stab me, but my teammate will stab you here. Here I come, it's Plasma. So many. I sure hope they heal me. That's all I gotta say. I hope there's a Nurse Joy right around the corner. Trubbish. Trubbish is a poison type. I don't know if I got anything for a poison type. Actually, I think ground might be stronger this time. No joke. How about that? What are the odds? What are the odds? just keep coming. We still got another one after this, don't we? See just how strong Ronan is. I'm honestly surprised Ronan hasn't evolved. I hope it's not a Firestone or something. So I kind of would have thought, oh, Torment. I guess we'll just burn her. Tis but a flesh wound. Is this the last one finally? I hope so. I've honestly lost count. What's up, Perry? Howdy, howdy. Perry, I just got a book that I think you'd be interested in. How to Make a Video Game All by Yourself by Matt Hackett. 10 steps, just you and a computer. Feels like your steez. I'm only on the first chapter, but so far it's been... I'll let you know. Last one. If only my laptop didn't be SOD all the time. Ay, ay, ay. Those awful blue screens, dude. My computer just shut down today and restarted, and it kind of terrified me. Bring it on! Can you take on 4 in a row? No. I cannot. I cannot. I'm so tired of fighting these baddies. They're back with a vengeance. Oh no! Does that get in the way with work? Or do you have a work computer? On top of personal. All these watch hogs. It's my personal laptop. I work out. That was much better. I see. Yes, I do know that experience. I, like the dummy that I am, spilled coffee on my Predator years ago at this point. But thankfully, I was in school at the time, and so Duke just had an IT department that I could just put in a ticket to, and then they just fixed it. And that was so nice. So nice. Oh, I wish. I wish life just came with a free IT department. Wouldn't that be nice? Working and lurking. Good to see you, Whit. I don't understand why you keep trying so hard. We'll let you through for now. Thank you. Please don't tell me how to fight you now. I'm gonna heal. Can I heal up the squad? Yeah, I was so mad. I was so mad. I was in the church office too, and I'm just thankful there were no parishioners around because I'm sure I said some wordy dirts. But I was so frustrated. And it was sticky coffee too, because I had done plenty of cream and sugar, and so it was just like the worst possible scenario. But it wound up working out. Still have that computer, and that was before Checkpoint, and that computer carried us through the first year and a half of Checkpoint. That coffee-filled laptop. The hero will open up the way to the new world, which means you trainers can all prepare to lose your Pokemon. I'm not prepared to do anything. Yo, 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 what's up, Yeet? How we doing? Welcome in. I was just talking about you just a minute ago, Yeet. Somebody just visited, Brent from the Discord just visited. Is this an anime? Are we getting an anime scene right now? And they mentioned that they love League of Legends in a past life. They stopped playing in 2017. They used to play a lot. And I mentioned you and B-Surfer are our League aficionados. Even though I don't know when was the last time you played. It may have been a long time. We finally get to see a legendary in this game. Which one is it? Who knows? What do you think, Chick? How do you like the beautiful form of the Pokemon who appears before and fights beside the hero that will lead the way to a new world? Now, Reshiram and I will head to the Pokemon League and defeat the champion. That will be the last of the Pokemon battles that hurt Pokemon so. A world for Pokemon alone. It's finally going to be a reality. Yeet. Peace out, bruh. If you want to stop me, you must become a hero as well. That's right. When Reshiram's counterpart Zekrom recognizes you, we will finally be even, and then you can try to stop us. Well, what will you do? My prediction, if the future that I see is true, you will meet Zekrom. The Pokemon will, with you, believe in you so strongly. Will you be the one who interferes with my formula for changing the world? If you want to protect the bonds between Pokemon and people, you must search for Zekrom. I'm sure it is waiting for you in the form of the Dark Stone. Okay. Whoa, there he goes. Do you want to know something crazy? Sure, what's up? What's crazy?
Check, did you see what flew off just now?
How could this happen?
Why? That was that guy In, right? Why was he with a legendary Pokemon? He couldn't really be the hero, could he? Also, did I hear him tell you to search for the other legendary Pokemon?
Calm down. First, we need to go back. It's more important to decide what to do next than analyze what just happened. Okay. Exposition, exposition, exposition. Story, 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 story. Astounding. I never would have... Oh, wait. That's not what Cedric sounds like. What does Cedric sound like? I don't remember. I think he was country. I never would have imagined a legendary Dragon-type Pokemon would return now.
That guy called In. Team Plasma's boss apparently reawakened the legendary Pokemon. He told Check to look for the other legendary Pokemon, then flew away. Remember that scene that just happened 3 minutes ago? That one? Yeah. Huh?
I've not played a game of LoL, even on my Smurfs, since like October. Wow. Life just happened, and I don't have that much time. One day, I'll find a job to pay me to play LoL all day, every day. I really miss it. I hate that for you. I believe in you. You're going to get that job, and you're going to get to play some League.
There are 2 legendary Dragon-type Pokemon?
Yes, there are, a mysterious voice said. Oh, it's Rengoku again. Why, if it isn't Outer. It's been a while. Have you been well? What was his voice, dude? I can't remember. No time for chit-chat. That fearsome column of fire that shot from the tower. That Pokemon has the power to destroy the world. If it's on Team Plasma's side, and Team Plasma tells everyone to release their Pokemon, no matter whether it comes from fear or admiration, the world can't help but change. It'll become a world where we are separated from Pokemon. Right. Moreover, the boss of Team Plasma, In, who reawakened Reshiram, apparently said to look for the other Pokemon Zekrom. If I remember the myth, Reshiram's fiery breath, along with the other Pokemon, devastated ancient Unova in an instant. Even knowing that, In is still wanting to awaken the other?
Huh? Isn't it dangerous to bring back my dad? The Pokemon that's powerful?
Miss, you are a very kind person. Still, I don't know if other Pokemon will be able to stand up to it, because no matter what, it is a legendary being. I don't like the idea of taking orders from In, but searching for the dragon, the stone, might not be a bad plan. We certainly can't let Team Plasma reawaken both of them. Since I've traveled all over Unova, I have an idea of where it might be. Let's head to the Relic Castle. Check, everyone. I'm going. I see, we'll leave that to you. I'm going to investigate inside the tower. Hopefully I'll find something. Then I will go with you. Okay. There goes Larry the Cable Guy and Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's up? North Hill Live. Thank you for the raid. What's good, Raiders? Welcome in. How are we doing? What were you guys playing? What was going on over in the wonderful world of North Hill Live? We're glad that you're here. We're playing some Pokemon White for the first time ever. Never played this game before, so we're just now getting to the real twist in the story and learning more about the Legendaries, but we're glad that y'all are here. What's up, Raiders? How are we doing? Thank you for doing that shout out, Perry. We need to cue one of the things that does the, like, you know, where it actually shows one of the recent clips, and that's so easy to do. I just need to do it. So I'll write it down to do eventually, I'm sure. Raid Live! What were y'all playing? Tell me more. Or were you not playing anything? Were you just doing something? What were you guys up to? Welcome into Sis Pineapple. Welcome into Dragonheart. For Thursday Wake with Nate stream, absolutely. Google Feud. Ooh, it's been a long time since I've queued up Google Feud. That's real fun. That's a good time. I love to hear it. Well, we're going to play some Pokemon. and we're looking forward to it. But as I know is the standard of raiding, sometimes you join a raid and then you got to hop off and leave. So I totally get it if you got to go. Don't feel guilty at all if you have to leave or hop off or choose to go somewhere else. That's no harm, no foul on me. But I do want you to know that here at Checkpoint Church, we are really a church, and that I'm really a pastor, and that we're really building community here. And we believe three things to be true about every single one of you watching this, whether you're able to stick with us or leave, whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church. None of those things change these three things that we believe to be true about every single one of you watching that came over on this raid, that are watching the VOD or doing any of that stuff. We believe that number one, God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number two, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on Twitch, Discord, and YouTube. And number three, prove that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth, and the world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. There we go. That's our spiel that I make sure that we always say to everybody that watches our streams or hangs out on our VODs, wherever it may be. So we want you to know that. North Hill Live, thank you for trusting us with your community. God loves you. We love you. You matter. We hope you stick around, and we'd love to get to know you better. But even if you got to hop off, we still want you to know those three things are absolutely true about each and every one of you. Okay. My ear is itching like crazy. You matter. Indeed. Shout it at the faces. Shout it to the top of the heavens. Shout it out the rooftops, because you do indeed matter.
I think I understand better now. Being able to do something for Pokemon for somebody at a time like this is strength. I'm sure of it. And my strength is something that is given to me by Pokemon.
Your mom matters.
Yeah, she does. Okay, champion, let's hurry. Check, this has turned into a big deal. So confusing, I don't know what to do. Are you gonna go to the Relic Castle, Check? Pass Route 4 in the Desert Resort?
Oh, no.
Approximately 500 steps from here. First go south, then go west. Here's the coordinates. I've marked it on your map.
I hear that's where the Relic Castle is. Oh, man, that's funny. Checkpoint Church is a self-sustaining church plan. If you'd like to help us keep providing ministry to nerds, geeks, and gamers, and support us there at the giving link or by typing !give at any time. Indeed. Good words, stream elements. Very true. Ooh, I don't like that those two made one link. Oh, no. We got to fix that. We got to fix it. I'm going to fix it right now. That's going to have to be a fix right now scenario. Let me go to Stream Elements. I never know why it does that. You know, I was afraid of that whenever I put in that second one. See, I just put in a pipette there. Let's see if the pipette works. Yeah! Made it work with the pipe. Nate the pastor. Can he fix it? Easy. Too easy. So am I supposed to go beat another gem, or am I going straight to the Relic Castle? Are they just really shoehorning in all this plot right now? Let's see. Where even is my map? I've had so much trouble keeping up with things in this one. Maybe. Yeah. Am I supposed to go back down there? So it's just stopping me mid-story right now. All right. If it wants me to go somewhere else, I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna do what it tells me to do. I gotta be outside. Surely the game wouldn't tell me to do things out of order. It sure does feel like they're just shoehorning in a bunch of things all at once. Here we go. Go to this exact area, this exact time, in this exact place. Take this exact amount of steps to this exact area. All right, we're going to get to the Relic Castle, and then we're going to take another 3-minute break. as we do to take good self-care, take good care of our bodies. This is what we do. Jinx yelling. Oh, did you do a drawing request? Doodle request? Jinx yelling at Tybers for kicking Teemo. That's 3 characters in 90 seconds. Yeet, what do you think I am? Do you think I'm some kind of artist? I mean, I'll try my best. Is it not Tybers? Is it Tibbers? Jinx. Okay. The bear. I know what Teemo looks like. Okay. Okay. All right. Jinx yelling at the bear for kicking Teemo. Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right, pencil ready. Okay, Google, set a 90-second timer. Let me pull the bear. Teemo. Who we don't have all the time. Okay, that's all we got. I wasn't able to finish the design. You can't really tell that he kicked him. Can't really tell that he kicked him. But there you go. Hang on, let me lower it flat. Jinx, with her braid and her hair, is yelling at the Tibbers, who is a little, like, sad about it, and then Teemo way off in the background. There you go. There you go. That's the best 90 seconds is going to get from this artist. With that, we're going to take a quick 3-minute break, so stick around. We're not going anywhere. Just take a break, stretch your legs, get your eyes off the phone screen for a second, maybe rub your eyes, go get a healthy snack, and we will be back in 3 minutes. We'll go ahead and drop a break time in the chat, and I will see you back soon. Whip. Still waiting. Wish tip. So there you go. The tips are auto loading. But for some reason the alerts are not popping up.
Pog you.
Why is it so awful? How do I follow the race? How do I follow the race? Oh no, what's happening? I can't follow the race. Oh, whoa. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Mom, I'm the greatest gamer. Mother, did you hear? Did you hear that I'm the greatest gamer? It's true. I don't remember anything else about Squirtle. He's doing a T-pose, though. I accidentally drew him in T-pose, dude. All right, T-pose Squirtle. Ah! Squirtle, Squirtle. This is Squirtle, man. That's a cursed Squirtle as well. We're just getting all the cursed things out of the way first, dude. I tried, man. I tried. Oh, I'm telling you. Oh. Oh no! Congratulations, Christina. Ooh. We have a good time, don't we? Ooh, don't we have a good time? Brrr. Full screen, I'll do it. We don't talk about checkpoint. No, no, no. All right. What happens when you're going to redeem a gachapon from now on?
Like Scoob, I guess we better see what's inside of this gachapon. I'm a little scared.
Did you guys hear it? Did you hear Shaggy? Did you hear my buddy? By Noor Unahar. So that's pretty hype.
Good evening,
ladies now
and
I can't hear it
gentlemen.
again.
This is your captain speaking.
Why?
Hello? Is
Why
this
come?
thing on? Testing.
Well, I'll go to the other one.
Two.
I'll go to the other
Two.
one. In just a moment.
Two.
Every
You.
$100,
Hurrah.
you'll get to hear a
You.
page from my book that I wrote when I was 10 years old.
You.
That's super cringe and embarrassing.
Hurrah.
Every
You.
$500, we're going to do a
Hurrah.
quiz
You.
that have been
Hurrah.
sent to us. Yamask and Cofagrigus. How do you say that? Cofagrigus. What? Okay, Yamask is fine. Yamask gets a C. This guy can't understand his name. F. Destroy. Destroy him. Bad name. No, Monty! Monty! Monty's dead. Monty's gonna die. Monty, this isn't what I wanted, okay, buddy? Ah! All right, we back. We're gonna get right back into the news. Can I get a pic of that in the art channel on the Discorcher? I once again checked that TikTok. It appears we are blowing up, folks. We're blowing up. We'll see how big it blows up, but it is indeed another random TikTok that just takes off out of nowhere. Always blows my mind. I really need to start writing down Danny G, today's date. So now we know when this was drawn. We can keep up with the history of art on this channel. But yeah, this TikTok is doing pretty well. All right, let's keep going. Oh, to the castle! Wait, the resort? Hang on. I thought it was the castle. Nope. Okay. Maybe I need to go down? No. Okay, alright, I'll figure it out. Don't tell me. My favorite part about this giant DS is that it never blinks orange or red, telling me that my battery's about to die. It's really nice. It's a nice factor. Nice feature of this DS. Oh, these REs! I can't handle them. REs are just insane, dude. By the way, Yeet and Perry, if you guys want to let me know what you think of this setup, because this is officially mounted. This is a mounted camera system now. New ring light, so this is the official layout of the standing cam. This is what the standing cam will look like. So if you think it looks good, let me know. If you think it doesn't look good, let me know as well, because I need to make adjustments. we are gonna have a corner shelf right here. So I'll be mounting that pretty soon. I thought it was nice to see the chat here. I thought that was kind of fun, but I could always do silly images here. It's just a computer screen. I do hate that you can't see the whatchamacallit? The thing. the spinner wheel. The sub wheel, that's what it's called. I do hate that, but I think it's nice. I think it's nice. And I do like the little neon sign. Okay. Oof. The REs are going to be insane in this desert. Do we really have to do this? Must we go through this torment? Yeah, okay, this chat's getting out of control. This chat is on fire. It's getting out of control. We've already got 1,034 views. Tick tock on the clock, and the party don't stop. Oh, whoa, whoa, oh! Party don't stop till I walk in. It's just so silly. I'll post TikToks every single day. Every single day. I'll work hard on those TikToks, man. I will scour every minute of VOD footage that we've got. I'll clip up the best bits. We'll make it immaculate. And then I'll do one random TikTok where I respond with some video games that I like to play. And it's like, yes, this one. This is the one. To the moon, brothers. Drives me crazy. Vigi games. Is this the Relic Castle? Whoa! Ooh. Your mask. I don't know if I have anyone that's going to go up against Yamask very well. I think he's ground type, so hopefully he'll be okay. Rock type, one of them? Yeah. Unfortunately, there's just such a big level gap right now that we're okay. Oh, come on! I don't want any more REs! I don't want any more! No more! No more REs! We're done! You're done. You're done. You're done. Go home. You're done. Enough. You're driving me bonkers. Had so many random encounters in this game. Stop it. Get out of here. Get out of here. I hit the Windows button. Away it goes. Okay, so I guess that wasn't the castle. So where is the castle? Oh. Appears to be a statue of a Pokemon, if you say so.
Stop, Jack!
What's up, Sharon?
That's the entrance to the Relic Castle. You're impressive, Jack, making it here before I did. Dealing with the Desert Resort's Pokemon took longer than I would have thought. I only made it all the way here out thanks to my Pokemon. Alder went on ahead. Let's hurry.
Okay. There are two things I've learned about the quicksand. If you try to walk through the middle, you'll fall. And if you try to run through it, you'll fall. My psychic Pokemon just started making noises. Is that because we're in the ruins, or is it because of you? They're scared of me. I'm so mean that your psychic Pokemon fear me. They quake in fear. All right, Sigilif. I can't remember what your second type is. I know you're a flying type. Are you a flying ground, maybe?
Nope, nope, nope. Flying Psychic, probably. Let's see it. So we just released a new piece of merchandise designed by the one and only Eat the Boots, who is here, with the refresh design, and which is exciting. First off, go to our Teespring if you want to go purchase that. But whenever I was doing that, it had been a while since I'd launched a product on Teespring, and so I hadn't had a chance to look at their new product line. But as soon as I can get it approved, we are 100% going to be selling. We're going to be selling Nintendo Switch, Android, and iPhone cases with our logo that's right behind me, the dweebs. Everyone in between, you are welcome. We're going to be selling Switch cases, phone cases, and Android cases, iPhone and Android. I was like, that's so cool. How did I not know that was a thing? How did I not know they had like those wraps? And so we're going to be doing that once I get it approved. There's a ton of stuff on Teespring now that I didn't know existed. And so odds are we'll be getting some new products in the next couple months, which will be exciting. So keep an eye out and ear to the ground. Look forward to some new exciting products. I really just want the Switch case. Oh, that was so cool. But they did immediately deny it, and I have no idea why. I'm guessing maybe it's because it says dweebs on it. Maybe they like read that and they were like, this is offensive. This is very offensive, and we will not allow such content on our website. Oopsie. Well, I guess I chose the cover fossil. That's fine. Oh. Getsy's told us that once again we should test how much power you have. We will see if you can defeat Team Plasma. Must we? Must we, really? Have we not fought enough? I'm not gonna lie, Team Plasma's ethos really doesn't make much sense. Because they just keep fighting. They keep talking about how much they don't want to fight, and they fight. It's almost like we have a conflicted antagonist. I've heard about you. I heard you work Pokemon hard. Weird sentence, bud. No, I don't. They're my friends. They're my friends. Ay. I'm never on the right Pokemon, am I? Just gonna do Hyper Fang? Probably gonna do Hyper Fang, because you keep doing Hyper Fang, don't you? Because you love it. Hopefully he'll evolve. How am I down to level 30? Or not level, HP 38. What happened? I bet it was Hyper Fang. I looked away for half a second. Half a second, I look back up and that's what I see. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. Didn't I tell you, baby? Don't do me like that. I don't understand. It takes so much damage. Just constantly using potions. Another Krokorok. Krokorok just keeps feeding. So I haven't decided what we're going to do after we finish Pokemon White. I don't know if we'll just start
White 2 immediately after, or if we'll take a little break, or what we're going to do after. But there's not currently a new Pokemon game announced, so we at least have some time.
You, to please my Pokemon, lose.
You're my favorite. You're my favorite grunt we've fought so far. I like you the best.
I want you to make my babies happy by losing to me.
No. I'll thank you not to suggest such things again. We have that experience happen a lot though with Teespring. They're very, very serious about copyright. And so anytime we use any like words in our descriptions that trigger their copyright detector, they immediately take down our products. And so I bet you that's what's happened. They must have said like Nintendo or something. I probably said Nintendo in my description. And they were like, you're not allowed to mention that. No. Ah! Miss! No! Why? Oh, good. It didn't kill me, but it came so close. I'm so tired of Watchog, dude. I am so tired of Watchog constantly using Hyper Fang and Super Fang.
What a trainer. How dare you not lose to my team? You were supposed to lose.
That's not what losing looks like. Oh no, don't run in it. Don't run in it. Don't run in it! Don't run in it, you fool! I forgot not to run in it. Where am I? I don't know where I am. Ooh. Cophagrigus. Pocket monster that I don't know how to pronounce. Man. I was hoping it would do more damage. There really is no one. That's where it hurts, I guess. I really gotta get somebody that knows some psychic moves. Kershmack. Oh, I like how he goes inside of the sarcophagus whenever he gets attacked. That's kind of cute.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I'm inside my shell. Don't hurt me.
He's just a ghost turtle. Stepped away to make a snack, but I vote either for White 2 or go back onto that Arceus or Scarvi grind a bit. Or maybe some Pokemon Ranger or Mystery Dungeon for a bit, just to switch things up. You know, Bleach really wanted us to play Mystery Dungeon for a little while there. The new one, the reboot. I'd be down. The art style was gorgeous. I've never tried Pokemon Ranger. And what was the one? Pokemon Conquest? Wasn't that what Cam said was like Fire Emblem? Pokemon Fire Emblem? We literally made it 3 steps. 3 steps away. Stop it, please. Let me run away. Maybe I'm going to use a repel because I really can't handle not knowing where I am and having to fight these baddies. But I also don't want to lose. Let's just do one little super repair. Just so we can figure out where we are. Okay. Is that where I just was? I think it was. Hope it was. Literally made the same mistake twice in a row! You goofy Gus. Now you gotta fight a Crocodile. That one's on me. That one's on me. I'm not gonna lie. That one's on me. That one is totally on me. Yeah, this is getting silly. We've been shared 23 times. We have 36 comments and 215 hearts. We've been seen 1,300 times. TikTok. TikTok. Conquest is Fire Emblem Pokemon. I mean, that sounds so amazing that I would love that. So I'm totally down for that. It's just a matter of finding a copy. I do like to follow the rules. Even though I very much may emulate every now and again, I like to try to obey the rules. And at least own the game. I think Surf should work because his hole that he dug definitely, ooh, excuse me, definitely the water would get in the hole and it would hurt him. It would hurt him. I just think it's not fair. Of course you lurk all that you have to, Gary. You don't feel like you have to keep coming back. You're all good. No harm, no foul. Oh no, he's gonna crunch, isn't he? He's gonna crunch me! No, he's scurry-faced. He's scurry-faced, we're okay. It's very weird. Lots of people posting about the Oscars. Which is good, I guess, you know. More power to us. Pokemon Conquest is a spin-off crossover between the Pokemon and Nobunaga's Ambition series of games. As for the latter, Nobunaga's Ambition is a series of turn-based grand strategy RP simulation video games. I mean, they clearly never made another one, so maybe it wasn't that good. Or maybe it's like Arceus, where it's real good, and they just never made another one because their Pokemon don't know what they got. Could be the one. Anyway, I just didn't know we were back on board with the Oscars. I didn't know that we all of a sudden started loving the Oscars again. I thought we had all agreed we didn't like the Oscars, and then apparently everybody loves the Oscars again. The only pieces of the Oscars that I've seen are on TikTok. No idea what happened, and I don't much care. Yeah, apparently the big deal stuff. Apparently, I keep saying apparently, I gotta stop. The big deal stuff was that Brendan Fraser won Best Actor, and then Everything Everywhere All at Once. What's his name from Indiana Jones? Shortstop? What's his name? He won, and then Jimmy Kimmel made some references to the Will Smith, Chris Rock fiasco from last year. And that's all I know. But those three things were all that anybody that I knew talked about yesterday. It was all over my TikTok. Glad to hear Everything Everywhere All at Once. Won some stuff, but beyond that, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I really didn't get to watch many movies last year. I wanted to. I had good intentions. But you know what they say about good intentions. Okay, Crazy Frog. If we could stop dying, that'd be great. Buddy. Whoa! Gaming magazine Famitsu has given Pokemon Conquest a score of 34 out of 40, praising how it was easy for children to understand. Along with its high replay value, in addition, Nintendo Power Magazine gave the game a rating of 9 out of 10, citing its engaging elaborate gameplay, and also noting it was simple enough to pick up for newcomers for the tactical RPG genre. IGN rated the game an amazing 9 out of 10. It holds a rating of 81.97 on Game Rankings based on 29 reviews. 29 reviews. That's not a lot of reviews. I don't know who Game Rankings is, though. So maybe that says more about Game Rankings than it does about Conquest. I've never heard anyone talk about Conquest until Cam mentioned it, so I know I've always seen the box art at used game stores. Oh my goodness, why? Why do they have to make it running? I'm an impatient person, don't punish me. How dare you punish me for my impatience? Man! Let me be my impatient self. I can't imagine what White 2 is going to be like. I will say that. Is it the same Pokemon? Is it the same areas? You go to all the same places? Does it look different? Or are all the characters just aged up a little bit and you start over? I'm very curious. Yay! Crazy Frog! Bong, bong, bang, bang, bing, 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 bing. Congratulations! Thank you. Woohoo! Ooh, what was that? Acid? Sure. What is that? It's clearly a Seismitoad. Honestly, I'm good to get rid of muddy water. It is not a starter, no. This is the Poliwag parallel line. It's the frog line from this gen. I do not like him. I do not like him one bit, but I like his moveset. No! I thought I stopped before I got to the side. There's got to be a way to get out of him. Where am I now? I'll take that Sunstone. Might as well explore because I'm not going to fall for another one of these again. That was the last one I fall for. Am I going the wrong way? Am I going the wrong way? Oh, no. Have I been going the wrong way the whole time? I'm supposed to go down? No. Oh, no. Down? I didn't know I was supposed to be going down. Why wouldn't I fall for all of them? I'm just supposed to be going down this whole time. Why wouldn't I just take all the shortcuts? What a silly game. We're definitely keeping those random encounters away. Ah! What was the point? I should have just taken all of them. Yeah. Take me away to a quicksand space. I do not care. Take me away. Oh. So I gotta fight these baddies? No. I fell down the wrong hole. You must go down the right quicksand. You're taking wrong quicksand. Okay, I'll take the right quicksand. My eyes look so sleepy. Is it this light? Don't they look so sleepy? They're like, I got like heavy eyelids. What's going on with that? I'm telling you, you can tell that I'm tired because of the stream of consciousness of this stream. I'm just going all over the place. I've been so inconsistent with my... Oh, he's gross. He's so gross, dude. Just giant boils on that. Ugh. Don't like him. All right, let's find the proper spot. Hello again, Crocodile, Crocorock, whatever your name is. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Said no one ever! Bye. Ooh, yes. I will learn X Scissor, thank you. Goodbye, Bug Bite. Oh, come on. Oh, don't do that to me. Come on, with the random encounters. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the random encounters, please. Spare me. Spare me the random encounters, I beg you. No, I don't have any more water moves. What am I gonna do? Oh, this is the worst. Please don't dig. That's hilarious. I didn't think it would let me run away during a dig. So that means that Crocorock is just buried in the ground, waiting to pummel a dude. Just absolutely waiting. Okay, so I guess maybe it's this one. Let's see if we pick the right one. Big fat nope. Oh no, I'm falling. Okay. So now we gotta pick the right one, huh? I'm gonna guess it's the one that requires me to walk over the most of them. I'm worried it's that one. Ooh! I bet it's this one. Since it made me fight a guy just to get here. Is poison strong against dark? Let's find out. Poison is not a type I use often. At all. Nope. Let's go for Ronin. I'm ready for Ronin to evolve. It's taking so long. Okay. Okay, I guess. Okay. Sure. Let's hope I'm faster than Leopard. Or that it does something that doesn't hurt me. Yikes. Nice, dude. Bye-bye, Leopard. Who's next? Trubbish. I will indeed switch my PokeMondays. Lurk real quick while I do a few things. Won't be gone long. All right, we'll see you soon, Perry. Thanks for the lurk. Appreciate ya. Never going to be able to unsee the old man eyebrows on Gengar now that Bleach pointed it out. What's up, Alendris? Happy Monday. How was your weekend? Did it get a little better for you? I remember Thursday you weren't feeling great. So I hope that things are getting better. Weekend brought you some joy. Oh, come on. Really, Trubbish? Do I have all the gym baddies? Nice! Power point up! Down the hole we go. Double fight, huh? Down to my last 2 hyper potions. I was dealing with a group of people who vandalized my house last week. Oh my goodness. Just submitted insurance pictures and estimates of the stress is going down. I'm so sorry. That's very traumatic. Glad to hear that the stress is going down a little bit, though. I really thought it was going to be a double battle! Why? Why couldn't it be a double battle? It would get over twice as quick. They're really just stretching this game out. They're just stretching it out for the sake of stretching it out. Poison. Poison him. It is, and my son fixed the door, so we are safe until the contractor comes out to get a whole new door and frame. Oh my goodness. I just can't believe that. That's like unreal. That's like something you only hear about in newspapers, you know? But knowing somebody that happens to, I'm so sorry. What a nightmare. Scraggy. Cameras caught everything. The local police called me here while I was visiting the zoo to tell me this had happened. Well, I'm glad that you're okay. It sounds like the only things that were harmed were things, and that's a blessing. I wish it hadn't happened at all, but I'm glad that nobody was there when it happened. Imagine being at the zoo having a nice time and the police call. I cannot. I can't even imagine. No one was hurt. Nothing was taken. Just the headache of dealing and being scared. Well, there's nothing quite like having the safety of your home distorted. That did happen. My family was robbed at one point. I was too young to remember it, but we had somebody break into our home and steal a bunch of jewelry while nobody was there. It's like things you only hear about in like crime TV shows. We were pretty scared for a while. Sorry to hear if it happens to anyone for real. Well, and that's what's so bizarre about like the right now, this thing that's getting super popular over on TikTok, it's been popular on YouTube forever and a day, but it's called the Mandela Catalog. And the idea of it is that you have doppelgangers that are hunting you down and are going to kill you, but they have weird distorted features. And so you film on like VHS quality and people do these weird faces and it's like their weird faced selves are hunting them down to replace them. Very scary. But to me, I just kind of laugh at it because my fear is that my house is being broken into, but it's absolutely not that it's being broken into by a doppelganger of myself. And so it's very bizarre. It's the, don't look it up if you're scared of things, because they really are scary. The idea of someone being in your home that is you, that is not you, just adds enough suspension of disbelief to make it scary. And it's a good horror twist. But I'm not afraid of a doppelganger. They just make me laugh. I'm afraid of just a normal human being breaking in. Yeah, it is not for the faint of heart. They can clean my home. That's right. Put them to work. Let me play more Vigi games. I know one fear you must not have, though, Elendris, is fear of water. Or being underwater. Because you definitely would not be able to play Subnautica for 3,000 hours or however many hours you played it now. And be scared of underwater.
Whew, I finally caught up.
You two, come here. Come to my side.
It looks like everyone is here. It seems you are working hard to resurrect Zekrom, the other dragon-type Pokemon, aren't you? But it appears the dark stone you seek is not here. Well then, congratulations are in order. Check. You were chosen by our king. If you truly desire to keep the world as it is, where Pokemon live alongside people, you must bring the other dragon-type Pokemon spoken of in legend and battle with our king. Otherwise, Team Plasma will steal every Pokemon from every person in the world and release them all!
Release them, you say? Do the Pokemon who live with their trainers actually want that? Is the liberation you talk about really just stealing Pokemon from people?
What's this? Champion Alder, even though illness took the Pokemon that had been your partner for many years, and you haven't had a serious battle in all that time, even you, who ordered the Elite Four to protect the Pokemon League and left to wander the Unova region alone, even a champion like you now wants to protect a world where Pokemon and people live together. Team Plasma's king will show the people of Unova that he is stronger than a champion who keeps Pokemon bound. And just like the hero who founded Unova, he will be accompanied by the legendary Pokemon. He will give this order: trainers, release your Pokemon. For this, we have prepared a suitable castle for the legendary Reshiram and our king.
I won't lose. I'll fight for all trainers who love their Pokemon, and for all Pokemon who believe in their trainers.
Our king has no interest in you. He is already determined that victory against you is assured.
So you stayed behind just to tell me that? Just to make a fool of me?
Of course not. I'm doing this out of kindness, yes. Kindness. I'm making sure the champion doesn't get hurt for no reason. Granted, the moment when someone loses all hope. I really do love to watch that moment. Well then, farewell!
Okay. Bye!
Alder, what are you gonna do now?
It seems my only choice is to return to the Pokemon League and battle in. But it bothers me to do exactly what Getsyce wants. More importantly, what should we do about the Darkstone?
Alder, why don't we go outside for now?
Yes, that's a good idea. It's hard to breathe in here. Yeah, that isn't too much of a fear, at least in a game. I do have a huge fear of tidal waves, though, like a 200-foot wave taking down a skyscraper. That is terrifying. I will pass on tidal wave simulator games. Agreed.
It's hard to put into words, but I'll never forgive them for this.
You just did. What could that guy... what could that guy called in possibly want? Could he be trying to prove he is right by winning the battle of the two dragons?
Check. Check. Hello, Check. Oh, you picked up. Hey, check. Come to the museum in the Green City immediately. Right away, got it? I mean right now.
I could hear Professor Juniper's voice from clear over here. Seems like something big is happening. I wonder what is waiting at the museum in Nakreen City. I'll go on ahead. Hi-ho, Silva! Away!
Now look around here once more. I don't want to believe what that Getsis says. You should head for the Nakreen City Museum.
This might be where we wrap it up, folks. Because we definitely don't have time for much more. Where is Nakreen City? No! We don't have time for much more, but I imagine the game is about to do another deep dive. Maybe this will be a quick... Maybe this will be a quick little bit of exposition. Either way, we're going to heal up first. I think we'll just call it. We'll just call it and we'll go find somebody to raid, because this will be a good place to pick up from next time. I have almost all my pavilion in Pokemon Go. Just need to get 3 more medals to complete the achievement. Wow! That's crazy. I am baffled by the Pokemon Go peeps who are able to do all the challenges. I have trouble just doing the basic day-to-day challenges. All right, we're going to save here. And we're going to call it a stream. So we'll turn back on Spoofy. We do have a couple more minutes. We have a couple more minutes so we can chat and hang out, but I feel like it doesn't make sense to start more just to immediately have to stop, you know? So we'll find somebody to raid. We'll hang out for a little bit longer. Hopefully everybody is having a good day so far. I am looking forward to some tacos. Tacos tonight sounds amazing. At the very least, cheese dip tonight sounds amazing. That's the peak. That's the peak of the Mexican experience, of the Mexican restaurant experience, rather. And hopefully you guys are digging this new setup, this new walkabout setup. I am really enjoying being able to walk around and feel more energized and bounce, and I feel more engaged. I don't know if it's coming across to you guys, but I feel more engaged. I hope I'm more engaging, because I'm definitely more into it than normal. Let's look up that TikTok. Let's see how that TikTok is doing. My goodness. I mean, it's just popping off, you guys. 1,500, 241 likes, 39 comments, 25 saves. Just insane. Just insane. TikTok. People are adding some good recommendations on here too in the comments. Like the purple sound meter. Oh yeah, that's a classic. Yeah, that was with our 2.0 update. 2.0. It's almost time for 3.0. I don't know what I'm going to do though. I don't know what I'm going to do for 3.0. Normally what I do is I do a revamp of the stream and I take like a week off and I just rebuild it. But I don't know. It just feels really nice right now. We've got a good flow. We got good songs. We've got good effects. The sound bar is working well, like you said. The bar down here feels like short enough, but it also gets the point across. I have the socials running across it. If anything, I might play more with Atom and more with StreamerBot and try and do more things in the chat. I feel like the chat is what needs the overhaul next. Because really all we have is you guys and stream elements. So I'd love to do more things over there. I like whatever you use to put chat on your video. The ones we had years ago didn't look that nice. Oh yeah, this little thing right here. That's fun. A little text message feature. That's just default on stream elements. That was super easy. That was super easy. The sound bar down here was a little more complex. But, you know. Does this camera still even work? It do. Tuna is busted, though. I don't know what's the deal with Tuna. Don't know why this title isn't populating. Yeah, Stream Elements is definitely my preferred. If we're talking slobs versus OBS, I'll always choose OBS and I'll always choose Stream Elements. I do not like Streamlabs. Some people love Streamlabs, more power to them, but I think they're not my steez. Not my favorite. But it's very impressive. Very impressive. We also got to come up with another way to use this retro layout. The only thing we've used it for so far is Omori. I guess we could have used it for Ib. Probably could have used it for Ib. I bet Ib is in standard 16. Maybe. See if we can find somebody to raid. See who's live right now. Who is live? Pause myself. Oh, nobody really. Nobody that we know well. Well, that's no good. Who shall we raid? I guess we'll raid Eagle Garrett. I guess we'll raid Eagle Garrett. Or we could raid Malachi, who's playing Destiny 2. I guess we'll pick between game. Would you guys rather raid Hogwarts Legacy, Destiny 2, or just chatting? Hogwarts, Destiny, or just chatting? What would you rather go watch? That is the question. Just chatting? We'll do it. So we'll go to Eagle Garrett. Folks, we are Checkpoint Church. We're really a church. I'm Nerd Pastor Nate. I'm really the pastor of this community. We are a real-life church plant doing ministry online, a digital church plant. We are mainly found here on Twitch, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, but we are also over on our Discord 24/7, ! Discord in the chat if you want to be a part of that. And we are also on YouTube every single Sunday and sometimes throughout the week with other content, but every single Sunday at 10 a.m. we post our nerdy sermon. This past week's nerdy sermon was on Trigun Stampede. If you're not keeping up with the new Trigun, holy moly, you gotta watch it. It's so good. I love it. It's an excellent dub if you're a dubber. The sub, I'm sure, is also very good. But man, Johnny Young Bosch is killing it with Trigun. Highly recommend watching that nerdy sermon. Highly recommend catching up with that series because it's just, it's so good. And we do that every single Sunday over on our YouTube channel. If you want to follow that, !YouTube, help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We would really appreciate it there. And we believe 3 things to be true about every single one of you out there, regardless of whether they believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church. None of those things change these 3 things that we believe to be true about you. Number 1, we believe that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on Twitch, Discord, and YouTube. And number 3, that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, we're going to go and raid Eagle Garrett. And if you would do me a favor, you heard that I just said, God loves you, we love you, you matter. Whenever we go and raid, instead of saying raid, would you just do the You Matter emote? The You Matter emote that you got for free whenever you followed this channel. If you would just click You Matter and let Eagle Garrett and his community know that they do indeed matter. With that, folks, until the next time I see you, it should be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern for some Variety Tuesday action. I look forward to seeing you then. Till next time, bye-bye!